It's going to be pretty cool that the administration's doing this. Also on the agenda today, you got President Trump. He's meeting with the weapons contractors here in the U.S.
And NATO Secretary General.
And the NATO Secretary General. So there's a lot on the agenda. Also, too, we're watching what's happening with the SAVE Act. I mean, President Trump's supposed to meet with these GOP senators, and he could really put the pressure on them. He wants to get this thing through. They're having some pushback on it. Maybe he'll lay down the law tonight. I don't know. We'll see.
Will he make the art of the deal?
The triumphs and challenges of the global church. Christian World News. Weeknights at 5:30 on the Dove TV. Encouraging and informative. Good morning. You're tuned to the Dove. Encouraging and informative. Helping Oregon, Northern California, Idaho, and Nevada start the day with news and encouragement. This is Mornings on the Dove.
Well, good morning to you and happy Wednesday. Welcome to Mornings on the Dove, and live from the executive suite at the Southern Command is Steve Johnson this morning.
Wow, now it's an executive suite. I like that.
Well, it's
budget has gone up apparently.
Well, it's the executive suite at the Southern Command. I mean, who else is sitting on a leather couch?
Well, I guess so. That's what we have in the executive suite, you know.
That's what we have. There we go.
He's over this way.
Was that it over there? Anyway, good morning to you. How are things down there this morning?
It's beautiful right now. It's going to get hot. Hey, we're into that weather. There is a chance, by the way, I saw of some rain possibly hitting the state of Arizona. So, you know, just like you need it for fire season up there, we need rain down here every now and then, too.
Well, we're looking down the week here, and it looks like we have the possibility of rain on Friday and Saturday, so we're kind of keeping an eye on that. So,
oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, hopefully we can get... And in fact, I have a story about the swing in the weather. It's pretty interesting. We'll talk about... have you kept track of La Nina and El Nino?
I was just going to ask you, which one is it this year? I don't know, because they have totally different weather pattern effects. Mm-hmm. But what are we? Are we in La Nina, I think?
We're in La Nina, which is feminine.
That's what I thought. Okay.
And we're going to go to El Nino, which is masculine. Okay. And the question is when and why, and I'll show you that a little bit later on this morning.
All right.
A little bit of anyway. Good morning. A lot in the news. There always is. There was an election last night.
Today.
There was an election last night in the state of New York, and some interesting swings. We'll talk about that. In the meantime, what do you got? Anything happening today? Anything special?
Yeah, this is interesting. You know how? Okay, first of all, the workplace is finally starting to get back to actually being at work instead of being home and trying to work.
What a concept!
Even though, well, AI comes into play. We have technology that allows us to do work at home and all that. But I think it's great that people are coming to the workplace itself. Okay. And one other thing, how many people, I know I did, I had lunch at my desk. Well, this is National Take Back the Lunch Break Day, meaning you sit around at a big table and you all have lunch. I think that's a great idea.
Here at the Dove, that's totally reversed.
In what way?
We are constantly in the lunch mode, and we take a work break.
Okay. I wasn't aware of that. Okay. You know, though, as I think back, that's very true. Especially when people would bring food and everybody then gravitates towards a table.
We are constantly eating something around here, and then once in a while we do a little work.
Yeah, well, yeah, sure. You make it sound like those guys aren't doing anything. I know better than that. They're doing it a lot. And when you do have your lunch break today, you might want to have some pralines. Ooh. It is National Praline Day. And it's been a long time since I've had that. You know, it's kind of, isn't that like a New Orleans thing? I think it is. If you like nuts and all that stuff, but it's also a pretty rich kind of a thing, you know, to have. And I noticed we have different kinds of pralines. I only remember the dark kind. You know, more the I don't know if you'd call it chocolate. It's not chocolate, but anyway, pralines. It's been a long time since I.
Don't you have it in ice cream? Pralines and ice cream?
Oh yes, that's true. That's probably more where I have it than anything else.
Yeah. All right.
It's also a historic day, and I'm sorry, but every time I think of Butch Cassidy, I think of Paul Newman and and also Robert Redford riding around in their bicycle with B.J. Thomas singing "Raindrops Keep Falling on My Head," from Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. Remember that?
Oh, you just scored 500 on Jeopardy.
Well, they they had bicycles back then, but those bicycles looked a lot newer. But this is a very historic day, and we're not applauding this, but it is a part of American history. This is Butch Cassidy's first heist. Okay, he had several. This was in 1889, his first bank robbery with a guy named Warner and his two McCarty brothers at the San Miguel Valley Bank in Telluride, Colorado. That's a beautiful place. They have the film festival there now.
Yeah.
That's and there's only one way in and one way out, so you would have thought you could have stopped them, but they didn't. Okay, get this. 1889, they stole $21,000. What would that be worth in today's money?
Gosh, that would.
What do you think it would be? $21,000.
That's got to be in the millions. Wouldn't that be close to $1 million?
It's close to it. It's $735,000.
Wow.
and I guess they got away with it. So.
Wow.
And they could use it on campaign spending and send their family to Disneyland. And
well, listen, you got a U.S. senator that kind of got caught, didn't you?
This has been in the news for a while now. Ruben Gallegos is allegedly charged with flying his family around, going to trips to one of the islands in the Bahamas and buying things. I mean, when you look at the allegations, it's like this is what you see in a B movie, that somebody does once they get in office. Like I said, it's just allegations at this point. But, boy, if there is this kind of graft that's so obvious, you wonder what else is going on.
Well, wasn't he a buddy of Swalwell?
That's what I've been told, yeah.
Okay. So
he was a real close friend of Eric Swalwell.
So I think that, they obviously figured out ways to do it. But listen, if the Ethics Committee brings him up in the Senate, they'll toss him, and they should.
And I think there's a lot to talk about with where the Democrats are right now, as far as turning on their own because of the election last night in New York. And I know you want to talk more about that.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's what I have for you for today.
All right, sounding good. Well,
pralines, I like them.
We're going to, somewhere between La Nina and El Nino, we have today's weather, and here it is.
Here's a look at today's weather from Grange Co-op. Across northern Oregon and southern Washington, mostly sunny to mostly cloudy skies. Vancouver tops out near 88, while Portland reaches 90. Highs carry from 89 to 93 across Wilsonville and McMinnville, with lows tonight in the 50s. Through the Willamette Valley, mostly sunny skies continue. Salem reaches 91, Albany near 90. Corvallis and Eugene see close to 89. Overnight lows settle back into the low to mid-50s across the valley. Central Oregon stays mostly sunny overall, with Prineville reaching 89, while Bend and Sun River see a slight chance of showers with highs in the mid-80s. Boise is noticeably warmer with hot conditions and a high near 95. Along the Oregon coast, patchy fog gives way to partial sunshine in Coos Bay and Crescent City with highs near 70. Port Orford stays mostly sunny near 69, while Brookings remains cooler with patchy fog, then mostly sunny skies and a high near 62. In southern Oregon, mostly sunny weather in Grants Pass near 90, Medford climbs to 92, and Ashland tops out near 87. Klamath Falls reaches 85 with sunshine early, then a slight chance of thunderstorms later in the day. Across northern California, sunny skies continue in Wairika with a high near 90. Hot conditions develop in Redding at 99 and Chico at 96. Fort Bragg stays much cooler with patchy fog, followed by mostly sunny skies and highs near 61. Around the Bay Area, fog gives way to sunshine in Santa Rosa and Napa with a high of 77. San Francisco sees decreasing clouds and a high of 66, while San Jose becomes sunny with afternoon temperatures near 82. For Central California, sunny weather continues with highs near 91 in Sacramento and 92 in Stockton, Modesto. Fresno, Visalia reach 98, while Bakersfield turns hotter with a high near 100. That's a look at your Wednesday weather from Grange Co-op.
Hi, good morning to you. And there's an interesting picture taken about, half hour ago or so. That was the sunrise out our door. And if you look over there, you'll see an airplane to the right. That is a Cessna 310, and you'll see somebody standing next to it. That's me. And interestingly enough, I walked out to see the sunrise this morning, and Scott came out and took a picture of that. And that particular plane, not that one exact one, but one just like that, I probably have close to 1,000 hours of flying in it.
Wow. Well, I'm glad you decided to do the morning show and not jump in the cockpit and take off.
Well, gosh, I looked in there and I go, does that bring back memories? I'd have to look on my logbook just about how many hours, but I flew that all over the West Coast and landed in weird places. And but anyway, look at that sunrise. Isn't that pretty?
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah, there you go. All right. What do you got with Jack Graham?
Well, let's see. Let me go through my little effort here that I have with my log is on my phone. Okay, so bear with me on all of this.
Do you take your phone? Do you take your phone to church and use it as a Bible?
Yes, and I talk about change in technology.
Yeah.
I have like 80 different versions. So, when people kind of say, well, I bring the hard Bible and you bring your little phone. It's like, yeah, okay, I've got 80 versions. Which one do you want?
There you go.
They've
right.
got King James. So that's,
right.
Anyway, that's what I say. Pastor Jack Graham, I'm not that familiar with him. I know you are. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to find out about this as well as everyone else. And this is the whole aspect that some people doubt. Was Jesus really fully God and fully man? He says, yeah, he was.
He sweat drops of blood and tears in the garden as he surrendered his life to do the will of God. Jesus was tough on sin. He was hard on hypocrisy in particular, but he confronted sin and he challenged sinners to repent and to be born again, especially religious sinners and self-righteous sinners. So Jesus was not weak. He was both tough and tender, and oh, how joyful he was as well. Little children loved him. You can tell a good man because little children love a good man and a godly man, and little children loved him and swarmed around him. He was joyful and beloved by those who met him, but he did this as a strong and spiritual and powerful man. So when we talk about being a man, not a toxic man, but a true man, a triumphant man, a Christ-centered man, a man under authority. A man who is under the authority of God is given over the authorities of others and given strength and authority. That's the greatest kind of power and strength, is the authority that God gives. So when we talk about strong men, it's not necessarily physically strong, because some of the strongest men I have known were not necessarily physically strong, but morally strong, spiritually strong, men of character and conviction, men of faith and men of prayer, men in the arena. Because God has not called us to be spectators, but on the field of play and giving our all.
Well, I remember him talking about that this morning. I remember years ago, I was flying the traffic plane in Sacramento, and I'd land after doing the morning traffic, and I went to Bible school during the day.
Okay.
Then I'd get back on the plane and fly at night or in the afternoon. And one of the first classes I took was the professor comes out and he's talking about the incarnation. And I never thought about it. That's why you go to school, to get your brain stretched. And he said sometime in the evening, like this morning would be a good example, go out and look at that sunrise and ask yourself, how did all of that creation show up in a man? The incarnation is beyond human comprehension. How did the creator of everything, the giver and the sustainer of all life, turn himself into a human being? It's quite a story.
Oh, yeah. Well, you get your mind stretched, with all of that.
Yeah, it stretches you a lot.
Little known fact, before Pastor Jack came out in his suit and tie, he was wearing skinny jeans and a V-neck shirt. Just thought I'd let you know.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
All right. right, that's why you're there in the executive suite of the Southern Command.
They thought they'd try to reach out to a younger audience. But
Oh, is that it? Okay, we'll give it a shot.
Wear
yeah.
the tie and wear the suit.
There you go. All right. All right, good morning to you. Happy Wednesday. Let's take a look at some of the top stories. Well, there was a midterm kind of an election going on yesterday in New York, and it has really shaken things up. Apparently, Mayor Mamdani has more influence than the casual Democratic establishment ever thought. All three of the people that he endorsed won, and the established Democrats in the primary lost. What does this mean? And it has gotten certain people on tilt. House Minority Leader, Hakeem Jeffries is kind of going, whoa, what's going on here? Even Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, whose political fortunes hang in maintaining control, has the really radical left become the control of the left?
All right, now let me ask you this. We're talking about how this Democrats are kind of shaking in their boots, if you want to call them traditional ones. Well, what about the Republicans? Because now this is a kind of candidate they're going to be facing, and they certainly seem to have a momentum behind themselves at this point. And our midterms are coming up. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, gosh, do we have an hour? But let me just say something that we need to pay attention to. Step back from all of the midterm emotions. We've been talking a lot about what's happening in England and how the Islamic community is really taking over in a subtle way. You come over to New York, and when Mamdani was running for mayor, he used socialism to get elected. Socialism being I'm going to give you free groceries. I'm going to reduce your rent. I'm going to give you free bus rides and free home care. That's socialism, okay? And he's using socialism as a net to get you in, and then his real motive is the radical Sharia Islamic faith. And I'm convinced of that. Now, you could write me off as a nut, but I'm convinced of that. But
we're seeing how some areas in England are going more towards Sharia law, wanting to incorporate that.
So we have something subtle going on in America that we need to take really serious. All you got to do is look up in Minnesota and see what's going on up there. The point being is this, that I think the Republicans are going to be faced with raw I think it's more than just socialism. And the question is, how are they going to message themselves past this, while at the same time giving Americans clear warning that if you continue to elect these people, you're in trouble. And I don't know how you message that without sounding negative and alarming.
You know, can we say it's more Marxist now than even socialist? Because
Yes.
I think that's even more extreme.
So when you have people, the old guard in the Democratic Party that's losing control to the radical left, that tells you a big something, you know. Even AOC won big numbers. But you have guys like Carville saying to AOC, nice win, but don't think about the presidency. You're too crazy. So I think the Democratic
Party is a little crazy too.
Yeah, the Democratic Party is falling apart right under our nose, and you know what? So are the Republicans, and so it's an interesting time to say the least. All right. Another story that came out is that apparently the Trump administration scored a major immigration win on Monday after a federal appeals court revived the nationwide expected removal policy, clearing the way for the Department of Homeland Security to resume fast-tracking deportation of illegal immigrants. And this is after a Biden appointee judge. Pretty interesting. So the immigration thing is getting more and more clear that we can enforce immigration laws against illegals. Now, here's the problem with England. They don't have these immigration laws like we have. And that's why they've been easily kind of taken over, so to speak, or being taken over. Here, we were being taken over under the Biden administration by lax laws, and then the Trump administration comes along, tries to reinforce these immigration laws against all oppositions and a lot of lawsuits, but he's winning them. And that is the indication that there's even more of a line being drawn in the sand about all this stuff.
Interesting.
Pretty interesting. All right. And in the meantime, the president does have another struggle. He wins one, and then he faces another one, and that is the Republican-controlled Senate voted yesterday to approve the resolution to limit the U.S. military action against Iran, highlighting renewed congressional efforts to reassert lawmakers' constitutional role in the decisions of the War and Peace, the War Powers Act. Apparently, the vote was 50 to 48 in favor of the War Powers Resolution, which passed the House earlier this month, reflecting growing concern, even among some of the president's top Republicans, about the conflict that began in February. In other words, get this war over.
Yeah.
And I don't know how you enforce this. I don't know what this is about, but it's sending a message to the president that his base is now tired of all of this. And, you know, I don't want to be disrespectful here, but I think, well, we got a deal, then we don't have a deal. Well, we're close to a deal. Well, we're not quite there. Well, we need another week. No, we got a deal. They're going to sign on Tuesday. Well, we're going to get 60 days. We're tired of this. Nothing's happening. And so it's starting to show up in the Senate now, and they're dropping the hammer on them.
And like we've said, the 60-day memorandum of understanding to work out all of that stuff, that's a long period of time. So
Yeah.
2 months, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's this thing. If there is an alternative motive to the plan that we don't know about, at least the cabinet members should know about it, and they don't seem to be informed. Or is Israel? So if this plan has an alternative motive behind it, which right now it looks like capitulation, then you would think that you would have Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, you would have cabinet members strongly supporting the president. The only one that's supporting the president vocally on this is the vice president. Everybody else has gone quiet.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we had something that wasn't too quiet yesterday, and after months now of an investigation, it looks as if we have 455 defendants who've been charged in connection with over $6.5 billion in medical fraud. Now, what is fascinating about this is that 90 doctors are included in this, and other people who are licensed professionals that they had provided significant, is the term they're using. I'm looking at it from the website now of the Health and Human Services Department. Significant patient harm, including death. And it's in 56 federal districts, 45 states and territories. This is a huge, big deal. And it's over a period of time. We had Robert F. Kennedy Jr. speaking about this. He's the head of the Health and Human Services Department. He talked about some of the most recent arrests that they've had.
Today's cases include the largest Medicaid fraud enforcement action in the Department of History. 165 defendants charged with allegedly submitting more than $200 million in false claims to Medicaid. These schemes did not target government programs. They targeted the American taxpayer. They stole money from workers who pay taxes, from families who depend on Medicare and Medicaid, and from patients who trusted their healthcare professionals to be serving their health interests when it turns out they were just chasing money from our agencies. The allegations in these cases are particularly disturbing. Some defendants allegedly ordered medically unnecessary tests. Others prescribed products that patients did not need. Some allegedly fueled opioid addiction to increase their own revenue. In certain cases, patients allegedly died while believing they were receiving legitimate medical care from providers who only viewed them as billing opportunities. These defendants did not simply break the law, they violated the trust that patients place in medical professionals.
Yeah, but it's amazing. The whole thing is 455 defendants in all of these cases, $6.5 billion with a B dollars that was misused for trying to get through Medicare and Medicaid.
I don't know what to say about this other than I think I would say both sides of the aisle are responsible for this. How many people have been blowing whistles and they just swept it under the carpet? And this is massive. Now, that's just that one. I mean, we haven't looked to California and some other places where they actually have some other violations in the billions of dollars. When you look at this, you kind of go, wow, how in the world did this happen, and how long did it happen? And here's the other question. All right, they're exposing it. The indictments are going out. Will anybody go to jail?
Yeah, we'll have to see. I would imagine with all of these cases, somebody will, but will all of them that are guilty go to jail? There's the question.
Yeah. Hey, listen, down in Arizona, I understand there was a second note as it related to the Nancy Guthrie case. What's going on down there?
Well, the indication is that she may have died some time ago. Remember, initially they were saying she needed her medication, and so they needed to find her right away. Well, it's been, 5 months now almost. And the one note that they did receive, supposedly, indicated that she was now buried with nature. That was the indication. What's interesting is that TMZ has said they've worked to try to work with the FBI on all of this, and they're not hearing anything back on all of that, thinking that perhaps they can breathe some fresh information on the investigation going on. But it's still now, like I said, almost 5 months, and they still don't have too many answers, at least that they're letting the public know about.
Some other things that come out of this, the sheriff's department is no longer involved. This is completely being handled by the FBI now?
Well, they're in charge. They're the lead. I don't know. They may be assisted by the Pima County Sheriff's Department.
Okay.
But FBI is taking lead in this.
Isn't this something?
It is,
just
yeah.
Amazing. Even pictures of a guy at the door, and they can't make this thing, they can't figure this out.
Right.
And we don't know what the motive is. Could it have been money? Was it supposed to be money?
You would think that it would have been, but perhaps, let me just speculate. If she died early on, what do they do now? They don't have anything to negotiate with.
Yeah.
I'm just speculating. I'm a layman. But you look at all of this and you go, this could have gotten out of their hands very quickly as well.
Wow. All right. We're going to take a pralines break. We'll be right back.
Okay.
Since 1934, Grange Co-op has been more than just a store. We've been a cornerstone of our community, owned by people like you. We proudly offer top-quality farm and ranch supplies, including our own Rogue feed, as well as workwear, Western apparel, garden essentials, and pet care products. By signing up as a Grange Rewards customer, you not only enjoy exclusive benefits like special offers and 1% back on most purchases, but you also become part of something bigger, a cooperative that you own and help shape. Join Grange Rewards today.
When life feels heavy, your body feels it, your mind feels it. That is why I created Organic Elements Wellness Spa, a place where wellness is not a luxury, it's a way of life. Step into our wellness lounge with a Himalayan salt room, infrared sauna, steam room, and invigorating cold plunge. Restore your nervous system, detox your body, and clear your mind. Then experience customized massage, advanced skin therapies, and result-driven facials, all designed to help you look as good as you feel. There's nothing else like this in Southern Oregon. This is your space to heal, to reset, to glow. Call today to book your private wellness party for up to 15 guests or surprise someone special with a gift certificate.
Visit Organic Elements Wellness Spa on East Main Street in Medford. Book online at organicelementspa.com. Wellness is wholeness. Voted best of Southern Oregon.
Your sweet tooth just became a force for good. The Salvation Army's Taste Good, Do Good Challenge is on June 5th through the 30th. And local bakeries, restaurants, and shops are serving up exclusive treats you can only get during the challenge. Hit different spots, collect punches, and vote for the best bite in town. And every delicious stop helps support local kids and veterans right here in our community. Start your adventure at tastegooddogood.net.
All right, welcome back. 28 minutes past the hour, and just kind of give you some Pacific Northwest news, quick updates. We talked earlier about El Nino and La Nina. Well, apparently, the Northwest climatologist is saying that the El Ninos we've had, one of the strongest potentially coming our way. They're saying that the current pattern that we're in could, in a paradoxically way, bring the Northwest to a wet and high winter snowpack, according to these climatologists. That the depleted reservoirs and the low streams that we are currently now experiencing throughout the state, now which of our governors declared drought measure emergency in some of the counties, all of this really dry weather that we're experiencing, and actually drought conditions, will reverse as you come up off the equator and El Nino takes charge, which they're saying now, forecasting ahead, we'll see. Wet fall and high winter snowpacks. How about that?
Wow, nice.
We'll see how that plays out. All right, the Trailblazers, well, they lost their coach, and apparently they got a new one. They tapped the top assistant Minnesota Timberwolves coach, and his name is Micah Nori, and he will now become the new head coach for the Portland Trailblazers. So we'll see if they can have a good season. And then a little bit of a backyard news. I don't know if you paid any attention to Joy Community. It's just a little bit down the road here, where they built these small houses for seniors. An amazing accomplishment. Well, anyway, our own Medford Chamber got involved in that, and they have now completed a tiny home which they've donated to the community, and it'll be donated, or I would say celebrated today, actually tomorrow afternoon between 4:30 and 5. You can go to Joy Community for the dedication of the completion of the Medford Chamber leadership building one of those homes. So people have built these homes, put them in this community, and they're making new homes for new starts for seniors. And Chad McComas, who is the pastor there, who heads this all up, his heart is amazing, and through heart, vision, and hard work, boom, there it is. This little city of small homes, literally down the street here, about half a mile. And
he's a good guy.
Yeah, he's a good guy. He's a good guy. All right, let's take a look at the satellite image. Here's what's going on. We remain mostly clear, but the weather is changing. We're starting to see a cooling trend and the possibility of some showers by Friday or Saturday, but still very nice summer weather.
All right, I got something very brief for you here. As you get older, gravity is not your friend. I don't know how many doctors have told people who get older, do not get up on the ladder. That's what your kids are for. That's why you had them.
Yeah.
I don't know if you thought that through, but that's what they're saying.
Your dad.
Now, Penn State College has come away, and they say, you know what? You just need 4 minutes of a home strength training program to help you. And I'll just be very brief here. 4 minutes a day. 4 minutes, that's all. It's not going to the gym and getting a membership. It's push-ups, chair stands, 2-arm resistance band rows. You use those rubber bands to do the resistance and all that. You can do chest and tricep and all that, and stair stepping. But I think the idea here is also you got to do some active things to make sure when you fall down, make sure you don't fall down. That's what you don't want to do. Lose your balance, and now you're hitting the widescreen TV and, plummeting down. The cats are going, they're running all over the place. They can't help you. So there you go. Anyway, it's a 4-minute thing. If you want to look it up, it's just 4 minutes of daily home strength training. Do something and try to get your balance. I've even thought Tai Chi would be a good thing to do. It's all that balance stuff and everything.
Well, it is, and they have the Chai Chi charts now for just doing it, sitting in a chair and doing it.
Yeah, you can have Chai Tea while you do Tai Chi. Don't get them mixed up, though.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay, I'll try to remember that. Okay.
Do something. Get up and do something.
All right. What else you got there?
I have more I have to do.
Oh, well, I guess.
I thought that was pretty much it.
Okay, well, we'll take a break because we're a little behind.
Okay.
No, we're a little behind anyway, and Steve's lost his way. So
I've lost my way.
You need to go get some coffee. All right, we'll take a quick break.
I got excited.
Yeah,
so
you did. I know you were doing rubber band things. We'll be right back.
Get some chai tea.
Hey, this is Ed, co-owner of Visiting Angels. To continue to serve our seniors, we need more caregivers with a heart to serve. Our mission statement is honoring the art of giving, which means we honor you, the caregiver. We know it's our people that make Visiting Angels the best in-home care provider and a great place to work. Come be our next amazing caregiver. Give us a call or apply online. At Visiting Angels, we're committed to you because we honor the art of giving.
What if the school you chose shaped who your child becomes forever? At Rogue Valley Adventist Academy, every lesson begins with purpose. We are a pre-K through 12th grade private school built on one mission: to educate, mold, and inspire service through a personal relationship with Jesus Christ, where students find their voice through music. Build tomorrow's solutions in our makerspace. Compete with heart and integrity on the court, and prepare for real life every single day. RVAA is a safe, student-centered community where every child is known by name, not just a number. From pre-K through 12th grade, your child will be challenged, supported, and loved. Enroll now. Openings are limited. Visit rvaa.us or call 541-773-2988. Rogue Valley Adventist Academy, located in Medford. Join in and stand out.
Welcome back. 25 minutes before the hour on this beautiful Wednesday morning. Stephen Perry with you, and a lot going on in the news. We're going to see a little change as the temperatures kind of back down starting today. And
nice.
You're going to stay up there for a while. Of course, that's your...
Yeah, it's going to be warm.
Yeah.
Dry heat.
You're just El Hot.
We're El Hato.
You're El Hato.
Got El Nino and La Nino.
Well, I don't know. You're El Hato. Very hotto. I don't know.
The one thing is you don't have to put on spicy taco sauce because it's already hot outside.
There you go.
You get the way it is, and it works out well.
All right. Let's check in with CBN News and get the latest from Israel.
Vice President J.D. Vance said Sunday there's an opportunity to turn over a new leaf between Iran and the U.S.
Never before has the Iranian and American leadership met at such a high level. What the president has asked us to do is turn over a new leaf, to transform our relationship with the people of Iran and to extend an outstretched hand.
One condition is for Iran to give up its nuclear ambitions. Yet Iran's president says that's non-negotiable.
We will not submit to force, oppression, or humiliation. We will not give up the right to enrichment either, and they have to accept that.
Senator Lindsey Graham told CBS News President Trump believes the deal will fail, and the president is ready for the next steps.
I spent 4.5 hours with President Trump Friday. Here's what I think will happen next. If this deal fails, President Trump is going to take the Strait of Hormuz over by force. The United States will control the Strait of Hormuz. We'll charge a fee for all those who go through to pay for the operation. And we're going to expand the Abraham Accords in calendar year 2026. And if Iran contests control of the Strait of Hormuz by the United States, we will obliterate them.
As Vance talked about a new start with Iran, President Trump threatened to renew military strikes over its support for Hezbollah. On Truth Social, he posted, Iran must immediately stop their highly paid proxies in Lebanon from causing trouble. If they don't, we'll hit Iran very hard again, just like we did last week, only harder. Iran wants to tie the talks to Israel's pullout from South Lebanon. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu made two pledges to an audience at the JNS International Policy Summit in Jerusalem Sunday night about a nuclear Iran and Lebanon.
No matter what happens in the talks, with an agreement, without an agreement, I pledge to you that Iran, as long as I'm Prime Minister, will never have a nuclear weapon. Never. As long as we need to protect our people, we will remain in the security zone in South Lebanon.
Netanyahu also said he believes the conditions have been created for regime change.
That is what will be the real triumph, when the Iranian people take their own destiny in their hands and they knock out this brutal regime that is terrorizing them and terrorizing the rest of the world.
Often ignored in the negotiations is the plight of the people of Iran. Miriam Wahba from the Foundation for Defense of Democracies tells CBN News the regime is targeting underground church leaders.
The regime is looking for a scapegoat here. They're looking for somebody to label as traitors, as enemies of the state, and as they really call it, enemies of God. And the Persian-speaking convert community Christians of Iran ends up being that scapegoat and ends up being prosecuted as what they call Zionist traitors.
She warns the MOU frees the regime.
What worries me most is that this gives the regime ability to continue its crackdown on the Iranian people and Christian communities vis-a-vis the Iranian people.
Vice President Vance sounded a positive note after the first round of talks with Iranian negotiators on Monday.
This is laying a foundation for what could be a truly transformed Middle East. But we haven't built a house yet. We're going to have to keep on building, and that's what we'll do.
Vance says he felt great about progress made.
Number one, we set up the mechanism to ensure not only the Straits of Hormuz are open, but will stay open. Number two, we actually set up the right mechanism to ensure the regional ceasefire to manage the inevitable conflicts that will come up. We have the Iranians allowing weapons inspectors, nuclear inspectors into their country for the first time in a long time.
Following the agreement, the U.S. temporarily lifted sanctions, allowing Iran to sell oil on the open market, which could deliver billions of dollars to the regime. Iran's foreign ministry spokesman, however, said Iran did not make any new commitments on its nuclear sites. In the Oval Office Monday, the president said the U.S. will take action if Iran breaks the deal.
If Iran doesn't live up to their agreement, or if they're not behaving, I will do what I have to do.
Canadian-Israeli billionaire businessman Sylvan Adams told CBN News the MOU doesn't make sense, and he believes Trump is just trying to get past the midterm elections in November.
I think the idea is to not go into the midterms with economic turmoil. So Trump is basically, I think, my theory is, taking a pause, taking his foot off the gas pedal, going into neutral so that he can get through the midterms.
For Israel, the most immediate concern is Lebanon. Israeli and Lebanese delegations are due to meet in Washington today to discuss the disarmament of Hezbollah and normalizing relations between the two countries. One controversy is a deconfliction cell the U.S. and Iran agreed upon that includes Iranian participation but not Israeli. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said their troops won't leave southern Lebanon until the Lebanese government proves it can disarm Hezbollah.
I stand firm that we will remain in the security zone in southern Lebanon for as long as necessary to protect the residents of the north and all citizens of the country.
Well, there's some interesting things there. We don't hear that Iran wants to give up anything in the way of nukes. The inspections, we've been down that road before. That didn't go anywhere, so we'll see. And in the meantime, I think Israel's pretty much drawn a clear line in the sand. They will not get out of Lebanon. So what do you do with that? Those are two big things with the MOU. So.
Yeah, welcome to the Middle East. Changes in a moment's
Welcome
notice.
to the Middle East. That's a good one to go with. All right, let's check out the weather. Here's some interesting information.
Here's a look at today's weather from Grange Co-op. Across northern Oregon and southern Washington, mostly sunny to mostly cloudy skies. Vancouver tops out near 88, while Portland reaches 90. Highs carry from 89 to 93 across Wilsonville and McMinnville, with lows tonight in the 50s. Through the Willamette Valley, mostly sunny skies continue. Salem reaches 91, Albany near 90. Corvallis and Eugene see close to 89. Overnight lows settle back into the low to mid-50s across the valley. Central Oregon stays mostly sunny overall, with Prineville reaching 89, while Bend and Sun River see a slight chance of showers with highs in the mid-80s. Boise is noticeably warmer with hot conditions and a high near 95. Along the Oregon coast, patchy fog gives way to partial sunshine in Coos Bay and Crescent City with highs near 70. Port Orford stays mostly sunny near 69, while Brookings remains cooler with patchy fog, then mostly sunny skies and a high near 62. In southern Oregon, mostly sunny weather in Grants Pass near 90, Medford climbs to 92, and Ashland tops out near 87. Klamath Falls reaches 85 with sunshine early, then a slight chance of thunderstorms later in the day. Across Northern California, sunny skies continue in Wairika with a high near 90. Hot conditions develop in Redding at 99 and Chico at 96. Fort Bragg stays much cooler with patchy fog followed by mostly sunny skies and highs near 61. Around the Bay Area, fog gives way to sunshine in Santa Rosa and Napa with a high of 77. San Francisco sees decreasing clouds and a high of 66, while San Jose becomes sunny with afternoon temperatures near 82. For Central California, sunny weather continues with highs near 91 in Sacramento and 92 in Stockton, Modesto. Fresno Visalia reached 98, while Bakersfield turns hotter with a high near 100. That's a look at your Wednesday weather from Grange Co-op.
Well, let's go back in history a little bit. On this date, Jerry is keeping track of what has happened on this date. The question was answered, how low can you go?
Oh. Every limbo boy and girl all around the limbo world gonna do the limbo rock all around the limbo clock.
On June 24th, 1973, 15-year-old Marlene Raymond showed how low she could go in spectacular fashion. The Canadian teenager set a world record by successfully limbo dancing under a flaming bar just 6 1/8 inches off the ground. The limbo originated in the Caribbean, particularly Trinidad and Tobago, and became an international dance craze in the early 1960s, thanks in part to Chubby Checker's hit song, Limbo Rock. The object is simple. Lean back, bend your knees, and pass beneath the bar without touching it or the floor. Raymond's record-setting performance added an extra degree of difficulty because the bar was on fire. More than 50 years later, her remarkable feat remains one of the most memorable achievements in the history of limbo dancing. So, how low can you go?
Is it being lit on fire? There's an incentive.
Well, I also enjoyed the people that did it on roller skates.
Oh, yeah, you go through it pretty quickly. You either make it or you don't. Yeah.
Oh, the limbo. How much that dates us.
How low can you go?
How low can you go? All right. Well, listen. In the meantime, the son of one of the Hamas co-founders was asked by the Jewish News Syndicate if he has anything optimistic about what's going on in the Middle East these days. Now, you got to remember, this guy's come out of that. He's converted over to common sense. Anyway, here's what he had to say.
I'm not optimistic at all, to be honest with you. So I don't have an optimistic scenario. But we can definitely control the damage. The damage has been done already. We need to accept that. You know, the damage happened on October 7th. Not today, not yesterday. And since then, we have been trying very hard to restore the image, to wash the shame of failure for those who were asleep and their job was to defend the people of Israel. They made poor choices. They failed the people. And they did not take responsibility for their failure. And since then, we have been fighting very hard on multiple fronts, trying to get out of that situation. This is a lose-lose situation. If I tell you that we're going to emerge out of this in the immediate future as victorious, I'll be lying to you. The situation is very hard, and more people are turning against truth, not only against Israel. They're siding with the hype, they're siding with the trendy narrative, the victim narrative. And Israel, to them, whether if they are public or policymakers, decision makers, Israel has become a liability rather than an asset. Even though in reality, Israel is their greatest asset. they wouldn't be here. They wouldn't be in this position without Israel. And now they want to appease the beast and please the public opinion. So congratulations, you are going to win the next elections, but you just sabotaged the cornerstone, the main pillar of the entire structure when you turned against Israel, especially when it's bleeding. I don't think that the Arabs, the Muslims, the anti-Semites, the anti-Israel has the capacity to annihilate the state of Israel. I think this is impossibility. And Israel, as a nation that has survived endless attempts to annihilate it for almost 5,000 years, knows better than any other nation that is still alive today how to survive. This is number one. Number two, in Israel, everybody knows how to fight. Everybody. There is no other nation out there that has the same skill, same intelligence, and same understanding of what the enemy exactly wants. And let me say this clearly. Israel's existence is not negotiable, and it does not depend on superpowers or the public opinion. And if they keep pushing Israel to the corner, they are the ones who are going to suffer the most.
What do you do with that?
Well, you look at it and you go, okay, all the stuff that comes against Israel, they've been able to fight against in the past. But are we going to make it more difficult for them to be able to be the state that they are now? It concerns me with all these Democrat elections that we've seen in New York. Is that going to spread? And they're anti-Semitic, that's for sure.
Well, I think there's one other thing, too. Why is Israel being left out of the MOU?
Yeah, they're wondering, why aren't we part of the keeping tabs on what's going on in
I thought we were co-partners in this thing.
Yeah.
All right, we'll take a quick break. And pralines and cream, that's something you can have.
Oh, that's another good one.
There we go.
It is Praline Day.
Praline Day. We'll be right back.
Visit fishlikeresorts.net today to learn more and plan your visit.
Men of Southern Oregon, please join us for our next Game Changers, June 27th, with Eddie Penny. He's the author of Unafraid. He was on SEAL Team 6. He's got a thriving ministry and podcast. Can't wait for you guys to hear his story. He'll be in Grants Pass, June 27th, 6 p.m. That's the time of our event. The meal will be at 5 p.m. Please join us June 27th with Eddie Penny at the next Game Changers. Register online at gamechangersnorthwest.org. See you then.
Jerry's Historical Archives. U.S. history. Great moments in time. Record breakers. Our music through the years. Relive the past and learn something new. Open up Jerry's Historical Archives. Weekdays only on Mornings on the Dove.
Your property demands equipment with more reliability, durability, and versatility built in. Kubota equipment is ready to get the job done right.
All right, 7 minutes away from the top of the hour. Yesterday, Steve, I had you know him, and we've had him in the studio. Nick Vujicic was with us yesterday. He's quite a guy. His story is amazing. He's got a movie coming out, No Limbs, No Limits. He was born with no arms and no legs. He's quite a guy. He's traveled the world now. But I asked him a really pointed, personal question, because this movie's coming out in September that tells this whole story. But I said, at what point in your life did you realize that God was going to use you the way you were, or the way you are? And here's what he said.
You know, I am a little spoiled on this side of heaven, Perry. You know, I can't go in a public place cognito, just put on some glasses and a hat. People come up to me and they share about how the video changed their life, or the book changed their life, or whatever, preaching. And they started their faith journey with Jesus. And when you get to receive stories like that, and many more, thousands on email that the team goes through, you know, it's a blessing. And when I look at my wife, she's the greatest blessing after Jesus Christ, and my 4 kids, you know, 13, 10, and 8-year-old twins. You know, it's dreams that I've been praying for, hoping for, didn't believe at one stage would ever come true. And so I think realigning, making sure that my focus is my focus, and not being too distracted or too busy doing, but just being. All these things have really helped me to keep on going when it has been difficult. Yes, I do have a pair of shoes in my closet. I have a couple. Running shoes, dancing shoes, and now cowboy boots as a Texan. I still pray for arms and legs. What's interesting is actually this last 30 days I've been thinking about, you know, how it's not getting easier. It doesn't get easier. And it's a constant dependence on the Lord, and I know His grace is sufficient. So at times I still pray for arms and legs more than the average person probably out there believes.
Can you imagine that?
How about that?
Yeah, he says when we get to heaven, he looks forward to hugging me with arms.
How about that? I remember when we first had him on there years ago at the Dove, he wasn't even married. And now he's got 4 kids and married and all. Amazing. And
they bring him in and they literally pick him up and they sat him on the counter in the studio, if you remember.
Yes, I do.
They sat him on the counter and we interviewed him. But he's had some ups and downs. His movie is coming out September 25th. It's called No Limbs, No Limits. And it tells his whole story. It's pretty impacting. I think you'll find it to be pretty good. All right, stick around. Let's see. Got Megan Barth coming up a little bit, so we have a lot to talk about there. Take with you today 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 11. Therefore, encourage one another and build one another up, just as you are doing. Do that today. Maybe buy somebody some pralines and cream ice cream.
Oh, nice.
There you go. All right, we'll be right back.
Season is Shine, a new inspiring program for women. Through meaningful and relatable conversations, we'll help you discover God's purpose in every season, empowering you to shine. Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays at 4 p.m. on the Dove TV.
If you don't drive it, donate it. By supporting us, you'll get even more mileage out of it.
Thank you from the Dove TV.
Come fall in love with Northridge Senior Living, where contemporary sunlit interiors meet old world elegance. Walk through our lovely hallways and enjoy the fun staff-led activities. Forge lasting friendships with other residents and our exceptional caregivers. Dine in style. Gather near the fireplace under breathtaking chandeliers. Our reasonably priced apartments are spacious with private balconies. Northridge is Christian-owned and operated, pet-friendly, and only 2 blocks from Asante Rogue Regional Medical Center. On-site, in-home care is available. We also offer senior adult daycare. Your loved one can spend the day with us and the evenings with you. Northridge Senior Living, your home.
In a time when our culture faces unprecedented challenges,
I want to talk about the role of a Christian even in a hostile culture.
Christian apologist and evangelist Alex McFarland addresses the hard-hitting questions about faith, morality, and culture.
People are hungry for truth, and we've got to rise to the challenge of our assignment as the church.
Know your faith better to be equipped to defend it in a world searching for answers.
But when you put the face of an earthly man on God, then you're never going to understand who God is.
God takes pleasure in you, and the very sight of you is joy and blessing.
Alex McFarland, inspiring believers through apologetics to boldly stand for truth in a critical time. Catch him Tuesday, Saturday, and Sunday on the Dove TV, encouraging and informative. More at thedove.us. The Dove TV wishes you a happy 4th of July as America celebrates 250 years. Good morning. You're tuned to the Dove, encouraging and informative, helping Oregon, Northern California, Idaho, and Nevada start the day with news and encouragement. This is Mornings on the Dove.
Well, good morning to you and happy Wednesday. Welcome to Mornings on the Dove. And Perry here and Steve down at the executive suite of the Southern Command.
Yeah, I'll have to find out where that door is. I don't know where it is. I'm here in the basement.
There you go. Anyway, good morning to you. Happy Wednesday. A lot going on in the news. There always is, and we'll get you updated on that. Weather-wise, at least here on the West Coast, Steve, we're seeing a little bit of backing off, and then it drops off pretty considerably right on down to the weekend with a possibility of some showers in the forecast. We'll see how that develops. But in your backyard?
Hot.
Wow.
It's like 104. That's what we're expecting.
El Hado.
It is hot.
Yeah. All right. Well, we have a story on the weather coming up a little bit later on. Does it flip and go the other way? Well, we'll talk about that. In the meantime, anything special?
Yeah, a few things to let you know about. This is the day when Butch Cassidy made his first heist. You know, he's one of the... we don't celebrate him as much as we acknowledge him because it's all part of the Wild West.
Yes.
And the year was 1889.
Ooh.
And he was in Telluride, Colorado, which is beautiful. I was there in the 70s before it got really popular for a film festival site and all that. It's kind of a quiet village at that point. I can't imagine how small it was back then. But the bank had quite a bit of money. And he took $21,000, which is equivalent to $735,000 now. So that was a lot of money for sure. It's also, as we celebrate Take Back the Lunch Break Day. So get the whole staff together around the table and try to think of something to say while you have lunch. Okay, because normally people are just doing their own thing or not taking a lunch break. You know, that's kind of a trend too. Yeah. But if you want to, what you should have after it's all done with your peanut butter and jelly sandwich is have a praline. It's National Pralines Day, and pralines are great. It's one of those things that it's kind of that rich cookie, and there's different ways you can have it. I remember the kind that I had was mostly the darker. I don't know if it was chocolate, whatever it was made of. It was the darker ones. So I don't know. I'd like to try some of the lighter ones. That would be a very good thing.
Mm-hmm. Well, you can have it in ice cream. Pralines.
You can. Pralines and cream. You reminded me of that. You're absolutely right. That's one of the best.
Yeah, it's okay. Not one of my favorite, but it's okay. You know.
Oh, it is good.
It's good.
Nice variety. You like vanilla, I know.
Yeah, I'm really popular at Baskin Robbins.
Yeah, vanilla and pralines. You could do that.
There you go.
Sure.
All right, good stuff all the way around. All right, well, listen, let's check out the weather, which is kind of interesting because we're in a La Nina. Let's see.
Are we? It's not El Nino, huh? I can't keep it straight. You'll have to because I can't.
All I know, whatever we're in, we're going to go to the other one.
Okay. All right.
And I'll tell you about that coming up. But right now, let's check out the weather for you.
Here's a look at today's weather from Grange Co-op. Across northern Oregon and southern Washington, mostly sunny to mostly cloudy skies. Vancouver tops out near 88, while Portland reaches 90. Highs carry from 89 to 93 across Wilsonville and McMinnville, with lows tonight in the 50s. Through the Willamette Valley, mostly sunny skies continue. Salem reaches 91, Albany near 90. Corvallis and Eugene see close to 89. Overnight lows settle back into the low to mid-50s across the valley. Central Oregon stays mostly sunny overall, with Prineville reaching 89, while Bend and Sun River see a slight chance of showers with highs in the mid-80s. Boise is noticeably warmer with hot conditions and a high near 95. Along the Oregon coast, patchy fog gives way to partial sunshine in Coos Bay and Crescent City with highs near 70. Port Orford stays mostly sunny near 69, while Brookings remains cooler with patchy fog, then mostly sunny skies and a high near 62. In southern Oregon, mostly sunny weather in Grants Pass near 90, Medford climbs to 92, and Ashland tops out near 87. Klamath Falls reaches 85 with sunshine early, then a slight chance of thunderstorms later in the day. Across Northern California, sunny skies continue in Wairika with a high near 90. Hot conditions develop in Redding at 99 and Chico at 96. Fort Bragg stays much cooler with patchy fog, followed by mostly sunny skies and highs near 61. Around the Bay Area, fog gives way to sunshine in Santa Rosa and Napa with a high of 77. San Francisco sees decreasing clouds and a high of 66, while San Jose becomes sunny with afternoon temperatures near 82. For Central California, sunny weather continues with highs near 91 in Sacramento and 92 in Stockton, Modesto. Fresno, Visalia reach 98, while Bakersfield turns hotter with a high near 100. That's a look at your Wednesday weather from Grange Co-op.
All right, there's an interesting picture. That was taken early this morning. We're sharing it with you. That's right outside our door. So I walked out on the tarmac this morning and was enjoying that beautiful sunrise. Scott came out and snapped that picture. And that was the sun coming up right over the, that's, you know, where that's actually looking directly towards Crater Lake, if you want to know specifically. Okay. But off to the right, you'll see an airplane there, and that is a Cessna 310. And you'll see a guy standing next to it, and that's me. And I was out looking at that 310 and remembering my days flying one of those, close to 800, almost 1,000 hours of flying one of those, all over the Pacific Northwest and the West Coast. And so a little bit of a reminder. But anyway, beautiful sunrise this morning, and there's a little bit of a picture of it. Isn't that pretty?
That's a two-engine plane, right?
Yes, Cessna twin engine.
Very nice.
Interesting plane, yeah. It was really a lot of fun to fly, and I did crazy things in it, which I would never do today. I would be a better pilot today than I was then.
What do they say? There's no what is that saying about
no old pilots or bold pilots? No, see, there's old pilots and bold pilots, but no old bold pilots.
Oh, old bold pilots, yeah.
Well, so anyway, fortunately, I became a better pilot after more hours. But when you're young, you do dumb things. Anyway.
Well, if you want to be a better person, Pastor Jack Graham says there's one example we can look to, and of course, that's Jesus Christ.
He sweat drops of blood and tears in the garden as he surrendered his life to do the will of God. Jesus was tough on sin. He was hard on hypocrisy in particular, but he confronted sin and he challenged sinners to repent and to be born again, especially religious sinners and self-righteous sinners. So Jesus was not weak. He was both tough and tender, and oh, how joyful he was as well. Little children loved him. You can tell a good man because little children love a good man and a godly man, and little children loved him and swarmed around him. He was joyful and beloved by those who met him, but he did this as a strong and spiritual and powerful man. So when we talk about being a man, not a toxic man, but a true man, a triumphant man, a Christ-centered man, a man under authority. You know, a man who is under the authority of God is given over the authorities of others and given strength and authority. That's the greatest kind of power and strength, is the authority that God gives. So when we talk about strong men, it's not necessarily physically strong. because some of the strongest men I have known were not necessarily physically strong, but morally strong, spiritually strong, men of character and conviction, men of faith and men of prayer, men in the arena. Because God has not called us to be spectators, but on the field of play and giving our all.
Amen to that. Good stuff. All right, Pastor Jack Graham. All right, good morning to you. Let's take a look at some of the top stories. And yesterday there was a midterm election in New York, and all kinds of things turned out. But the big story is that the Democratic Party's normal nominees lost to the radical left, Mondani endorsed nominees. And he won all three, or say the people that he endorsed, all three won in New York, their Democratic primary seats yesterday. And even AOC won re-election. So this is in the primary, see where it goes. But it is a shockwave through, I would say, the rank and file of the everyday Democrat, that their party now has clearly been taken over by the far, far left, and it's left them scratching their head. I would say that Minority Leader in the House, Jeffries, is also kind of scratching his head. Certainly Senator Chuck Schumer is kind of going, uh-oh, what do we do with this? It looks like the far radical left side of the party is using socialism big time to win their primaries. The question is, will they win in November against the Republicans? So, wow, that's quite a shakeup.
I think it's sending shockwaves through the Republican Party, too, to say, is the nation really turning this direction, socialist in nature? You can't ignore it no matter what side of the political line you're on.
It's happening, and there's more to it than just socialism. You got this radical element of the Islamic faith now in Europe and in the United States, and that's what Mondani is. You know what's interesting to me? Think about this simple question. How did we go from 9/11 to electing Mondani?
It's a whole generational move, isn't it?
That is a shock. So, all right, the other story is, it's a big one too, a Biden judge overruled the other day in favor of President Trump. The Trump administration scored a major immigration win on Monday in the Federal Appeals Court, and nationwide expected the removal policy, clearing the way for the Department of Homeland Security to resume fast-track deportation of illegal immigrants, so they can continue to remove them. This is a big deal. And quite frankly, these laws are what's different between us and the UK. So if you're here illegally, they can pick you up and send you back.
Yeah.
So we'll see where this goes. So that was a win. Excuse me. That was a win for the Trump administration. Here's something that's brewing that could be problematic for them. More and more Republicans are now leaning towards the War Powers Resolution. In fact, the vote yesterday in the Senate, 50-48 in favor of the War Powers Resolution that passed in the House earlier, reflecting growing concern, even among some of the president's top Republicans, about the divisive conflict that began in Iran in February. And they're saying he needs to get the war done, and he needs to get out of this thing like yesterday. So I don't know what kind of teeth this war powers comes with, other than it's certainly a vote that we're not in favor of what you're doing.
Yeah. We'll see if that has an impact on the president. It's hard to tell.
All right.
Another thing, another big thing that happened is a series of arrests in 45 states, about 455 individuals who have been arrested in a $6.5 billion case, or a series of cases dealing with healthcare fraud. And this is something that is huge. It's not just one state. It's in a lot of different areas. And you can imagine there's probably going to be some more arrests. Well, of all of those cases, we had Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. talk about some of the latest arrests and the impact that it has had on people who have been patients, as well as our Medicare system.
Today's cases include the largest Medicaid fraud enforcement action in the Department of History, 165 defendants charged, with allegedly submitting more than $200 million in false claims to Medicaid. These schemes did not target government programs, they targeted the American taxpayer. They stole money from workers who pay taxes, from families who depend on Medicare and Medicaid, and from patients who trusted their healthcare professionals to be serving their health interests when it turns out they were just chasing money from our agencies. The allegations in these cases are particularly disturbing. Some defendants allegedly ordered medically unnecessary tests. Others prescribed products that patients did not need. Some allegedly fueled opioid addiction to increase their own revenue. In certain cases, patients allegedly died while believing they were receiving legitimate medical care from providers who only viewed them as billing opportunities. These defendants did not simply break the law, they violated the trust that patients place in medical professionals.
This is staggering. 6.5 billion.
Billion with a B, yeah.
And 200 million so far that they've discovered just inside Medicaid. Wow. You know, this hasn't been going on last week. This has been going on for quite a while. You know, I think both sides are complicit to this mess. So we'll have to see where this goes. In the meantime, there's been a story right there in your own backyard. It's a sad one, and that is the fate of Nancy Guthrie. She went missing, still hasn't been found or recovered.
Yeah, and you were mentioning this earlier. There is an indication that there's been another ransom note. Now, the FBI apparently has received quite a few of those, but of course they're not letting, well, quite a few, however you want to determine that. They haven't mentioned what that actually means as far as how different they are. There is an indication, now that it's been almost 5 months, that she could have died just about a month or so or less after she was taken from her home in Tucson. And so TMZ is trying to get involved, saying, hey, we might be able to help you out in some way. The FBI is the one who's the lead organization in charge of it. And as we were told, there was one note that indicated that she may now be resting in nature, indicating that she could have been, she may have died and is buried. So there's still a lot going on with this, but it's all just the investigative part of it all. No one's been arrested, no suspects have been named or anything like that. So almost 5 months now, and still a lot of questions about Nancy Guthrie missing, taken from her home.
Amazing story. All right. Yeah. Okay, we'll take a quick break, get some pralines and cream, maybe. We'll see if there's any over there. We'll be right back.
But the voice of truth tells me a different story. The voice of truth says do not be.
Since 1934, Grange Co-op has been more than just a store. We've been a cornerstone of our community, owned by people like you. We proudly offer top-quality farm and ranch supplies, including our own Rogue feed, as well as workwear, Western apparel, garden essentials, and pet care products. By signing up as a Grange Rewards customer, you not only enjoy exclusive benefits like special offers and 1% back on most purchases, but you also become part of something bigger, a cooperative that you own and help shape. Join Grange Rewards today.
Put your gold in an envelope, mail it. Hopefully you get a check. Nah. Father and son jewelry, bring your gold in, we weigh it, we check it, we make you the offer.
Or turn you something old into something new. Whether it's an idea, a picture, or a piece you want to duplicate, we can melt it down and make it for you.
If you find your perfect piece in store, trade your something old for something new, and you always get a little extra.
Visit Father and Son Jewelry, 5 generations of family in Medford.
What if the school you chose shaped who your child becomes forever? At Rogue Valley Adventist Academy, every lesson begins with purpose. We are a pre-K through 12th grade private school built on one mission: to educate, mold, and inspire service through a personal relationship with Jesus Christ, where students find their voice through music. Build tomorrow's solutions in our makerspace. Compete with heart and integrity on the court, and prepare for real life every single day. Our VAA is a safe, student-centered community where every child is known by name, not just a number. From pre-K through 12th grade, your child will be challenged, supported, and loved. Enroll now. Openings are limited. Visit rvaa.us or call 541-773-2988. Rogue Valley Adventist Academy, located in Medford. Join in and stand out.
All right, welcome back. Happy Wednesday to you. Steve and Perry with you this morning. A lot going on in the news, and our own weather pattern seems to be in the news these days. Now, from what I understand, that the Northwest climatologists are saying potentially we are in for one of the strongest El Niños we've had. And so this apparently will start sometime around August and work its way all the way through winter. And they're calling it a super El Nino. We've only seen 3 of these since 1980. And apparently the developing weather patterns, especially as it comes up out of the equator and they track El Nino and La Nina, this one apparently does the opposite and brings greater rain and mountain snowpack. So we have gone from a season where the La Nina El Nino series didn't perform this year. We're in a drought, and this could drastically switch and go the other way starting in August. In other words, we'll start to see the weather patterns slowly develop in August. Now, you got to remember something. Today is June 24th. We are now beginning to get days shorter. And that happened on the 21st. It was the longest day of the year. Now the days will start losing a little bit each day, where the days will get shorter. All this relates to the equator. It relates to patterns that have been tracked for years, El Nino and La Nina. In the meantime, in the state of Oregon, our governor has declared low streams and water levels drought emergency in nearly half of the state's counties here, because we're super dry here. In fact, you know what's so interesting, Steve? If you drive around Medford here and drive around just anywhere, I would say from maybe Grants Pass all the way to Ashland and all around, the trees are really struggling.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you can see it in the trees. They are just not producing a lot of green leaves and healthy leaves.
Well, I know in Northern California, you were talking about earlier this week, a 1 acre fire that grew into a bigger one that they had to take care of. So fire season is definitely there.
It's there. So, but apparently we are heading towards the last couple of years. The La Ninas haven't really been acting like they normally do.
Oh.
So I'd have to go back and do a lot of study on this. But the upcoming El Nino, which will start to take effect sometime in August and stay with us through the winter months, they're saying is, which we haven't seen, we've only seen 3 of what they're calling a super El Nino. We've only seen 3 of these since 1980. Okay, so it does the opposite. It brings greater rain and mountain snowpack, and I would say that we're clearly looking for this. So we'll see. So maybe there's hope on the horizon. In the meantime, the Trailblazers, a great team here on the Pacific Northwest in the state of Oregon, had a little bit of a coach problem. Well, apparently they solved that. They picked up Minnesota's Timberwolves top assistant coach. Micah Nori is going to be the new head coach for the Portland Trailblazers. I don't know much about the guy. Can't say a whole lot one way or the other than we're proud to have the Portland Trailblazers as one of the backyard teams, and hopefully they have a good season.
Yeah.
And then another little bit of a backyard story. The Joy community, which is down the road here. In fact, you and I went over there and others. It's a community where Pastor Chad McComas has worked hard. He had a vision to find these small homes in a village where homeless seniors could go. And which is one of my pet peeves, that we should freeze the property tax on seniors over the age of 65. Otherwise, we're taxing
You have
them.
mentioned that for a few years, I remember you saying.
Yeah, we talk about it, it's like anything else. But, you know, only in America can you have the American dream and then have the government take the American dream away from you. So anyway, there's a lot of homeless seniors. So Chad picked up on this, and he started developing this, what they call the Joy Village, the Joy community. It's really, really neat.
Good.
And they have all these small homes now. Well, our own chamber took on the project of building one of these to dedicate and commit there. And that'll be celebrated today with a little bit of a dedication between 4:30 and 5 here this afternoon. So if you're in the local area, go to Joy Community, especially if you're a member of the Chamber in Sherman. Good stuff all the way around. All right, let's take a look at Wall Street for a Wednesday morning. Thank you, Preston. Smart Lawn. He's the smart guy. His wife has this ice cream shop. Go over there. Hey, you know what? Come to think of it, I wonder if she has pralines and cream over at the ice cream shop. Twin Peaks ice cream shop there in Central Point. Delicious. Anyway, Dow's up about 80. The Nas is up a little over 56, and the S&P up 22, almost 23 points. So kind of solid green across the top there. We'll see how that works out. In the meantime, gold finally is turning around a little bit. It's up to 4,045, so it's up a little. Silver's down, but up at 59.41. And you know, one time that was up around $100. And here's crude oil up a few pennies at $73 a barrel. That's actually down from where it was, but it's up a few pennies. So those are the numbers for a Wednesday.
Well, Gavin Newsom, one of the kind of guys who's in the news and out of the news and in the news again. Well, he's in the news, and people have always been wondering, is he going to throw his hat in the ring for the presidency? Well, California Post opinion editor Joel Pollack joined Fox News in talking about a Department of Justice investigation into Newsom's finances. And he says this is a time when the governor really needs to come clean.
Well, first of all, it wasn't just charitable donations. He was fined for failing to report what are called behested payments. These are payments that are allowed in California, where politicians ask donors to give money to charities of their choice. And in Newsom's case, the charity he was asking donors to give to was run by his wife. So that creates conflicts of interest, as does the fact that some of the donors had interests before the state. And the implication is that if you gave a little money to the governor's wife's charity, maybe the governor would be a little bit more inclined to favor your position as opposed to somebody else's. So that is already in the public domain. We don't know what else the DOJ is digging up. There are reports that they're looking into Jennifer Siebel Newsom's tax returns. But I can say this. We don't know whether these investigations are politically motivated or not. It didn't help John Bolton when he said that the investigation into his misuse of classified information was politically motivated. He just recently pleaded guilty. So that doesn't actually explain whether Newsom is guilty or not. And if Newsom were being honest with the voters of California, he would come clean about what these behested payments are instead of waiting until beyond the deadline to account for them.
All right, you can see where that's going to go. He's going to blame the Trump administration for politically doing it, and it's going to get all tied up in that kind of rhetoric. Look, the guy is heading to run for president. The question is, can he get the nomination? Can he shake California off his resume?
Well, or does he even go in deeper, given what happened in the New York election? I mean, is he considered too conservative for Democrats now?
I don't know. What you're going to see with all of the rhetoric now is that those who are far left they're going to run to the middle.
Okay.
And they're counting on one thing, that you don't remember anything. And that usually works.
It can, that's for sure.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. But I don't know if he gets picked up. I don't know. We'll see what happens. You know, he's a slick. You know, he makes Bill Clinton look bad. He's slick.
I think it's a Grecian formula in his hair.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Is that still around? Can you buy some of that?
Makes him a little slicker. Well, probably. Amazon, you can get anything, I guess. Try Walmart.
Bill cream. Yeah, there you go. All right, we'll take a quick pralines and cream break. We'll be right back.
Your Your yard is where life happens, but it can be muddy and hard to maintain. Enjoy a maintenance-free artificial turf lawn all year round with Smart Lawn LLC. No mowing, no fertilizing, no watering. Our synthetic grass is beautiful and resilient. It's certified to be lead-free, and there's no need for pesticides. Safe for your children and pets. Smart Lawn LLC has all your artificial turf and putting green areas covered beautifully. 541-941-3538.
I'm Susanna, and I contracted KA Designs to do custom cabinets throughout my house. We chose a really beautiful maple wood that really creates like a nice airy space. Everything was custom, and it was really cool because I got to literally see it come to life in person. We love to entertain, and we have a large family, so everything came together perfectly, exactly what I wanted. I highly suggest KA Designs if you're looking to design your dream house. Go check them out in their showroom. You will not be disappointed.
There may have never been another time in history when end times prophecy has been more aligned with the culture and circumstances of the world than it is today. I believe there are 10 phenomena we are witnessing today that were recorded centuries ago in Bible prophecy.
Join Dr. David Jeremiah in his series, Where Do We Go From Here? On the next episode of Turning Point, right here on this station.
Weekends on the Dove TV.
Welcome back. 1:30 on a beautiful Wednesday morning out there. As at least in our backyard, we'll start to see a little bit drop in the temperature as we head towards the weekend with the possibility of some rain Friday, Saturday. At Steve's Southern Command, it just stays up there.
It is up there.
Stays hot.
Yeah.
Well, the vice president's in Switzerland trying to get the memorandum of understanding to a final take. And there's a couple of problems. Iran is saying no to giving up nukes and inspections, and Israel saying no, we won't leave Lebanon. Well, two big parts of the MOU. So let's check in with Joshua Swanson at CBN News and get caught up on the latest.
The Trump administration is pressing forward to facilitate peace between Israel and Lebanon, but Israeli ambassador to the United States, Yechiel Leiter, warns the talks are falling apart, saying we are in a train wreck. The talks were designed to separate Lebanon from the broader conflict with Iran and reduce the influence of the terrorist organization Hezbollah operating along Israel's northern border. But Tuesday, Lebanese President Joseph Aoun tied the issues together by insisting we accept nothing less than an end to the Israeli occupation of southern Lebanon. An agreement earlier this week said a ceasefire depends on a complete cessation of Hezbollah fire and the evacuation of all Hezbollah operatives from areas south of the Litani River. The Lebanese army would then take control. Secretary of State Marco Rubio says the MOU with Iran must address the regime's support for Hezbollah.
There's an Iranian issue with regard to Lebanon, and that is their support and sponsorship of Hezbollah. But as far as the future of Lebanon belongs to the Lebanese people through their sovereign elected government.
At the same time, Iran is drawing a red line around its military capabilities. President Masoud Pezeshkian says Tehran's missile program will never be part of peace negotiations.
Our missile program was not included in the MOU, and it shall not be. I would like to say that if it was not for Iran's missile capabilities to defend ourselves, our country would have been plundered and destroyed by the Zionist regime and the U.S.
Those comments come as President Trump is celebrating what he called a historic agreement.
We just achieved a historic peace agreement with Iran to end the conflict in the Strait of Hormuz. And by the way, yesterday, 19 million barrels of oil flowed out of the Strait of Hormuz, a very beautiful place.
Back in Washington, the U.S. Senate has for the first time approved a war powers resolution aimed at limiting military action against Iran. The House has approved a similar resolution, but neither has any practical effect. The vote highlights a rare bipartisan rebuke to the administration's strategy toward Iran, and critics argue it comes at a great cost to the American people.
And Joshua's joining us now with more. So what is Iran saying about the Memorandum of Understanding and the talks with the United States?
Well, Ephraim, Iran is presenting the agreement very differently than the White House. Iran's chief negotiator described the deal as a declaration of American defeat. He said it wasn't a result of the U.S. pressure that they made a deal, but instead the resistance of the brave Iranian nation. So Iran's leaders are also emphasizing sovereignty. Their message is that regional countries, not outside powers, should determine the future of the Middle East. Tehran is telling the Persian people living in captivity in Iran that it stood firm and protected their national interests. That, of course, is because Iran needs to project strength domestically, since the protests from within Iran sparked this war in the first place. And the fact that the overwhelming majority of Iranians want nothing to do with the jihadist Islamic Republic. So both sides appear to have very different understandings of what was actually achieved with the signing of the MOU.
Iran is also saying its missile program will not be included in the talks. What about its nuclear program?
Yes, Iran has been very consistent. It says missile program non-negotiable. On the nuclear side, Iran is signaling it's ready to play ball, as the head of the UN nuclear watchdog group, Rafael Grossi, announced just this morning that inspections are expected to regain access. Inspectors can get back into Iran and check enrichment facilities. Those facilities are believed to contain highly enriched uranium that could potentially be used for nuclear weapons if Iran chose to take that step. The challenge is that Washington and Tehran are still sending mixed signals about exactly what inspections will look like and how much access inspectors will actually receive. So the nuclear program is clearly a part of this deal, but now we wait and see if inspectors will get meaningful access and whether the international community can independently verify what Iran is doing, or hopefully not doing, with its nuclear program.
What about the talks when it comes to the Strait of Hormuz?
Yeah, well, President Trump declared the straits are open, the oil is flowing. He said that based on Iranian concessions in the negotiation, he's agreed to allow the Hormuz Strait to remain open. No further naval blockades, he said, but he did have a caveat. All U.S. military ships will remain in place just in case they are necessary. This is the president continually reminding the Iranians that the U.S. is ready and willing to restart this war. But the president has pointed out, too, that the flow of commerce through the strait is evidence that stability has returned to the region. But Iran is continuing to stress that it has the right to control its own territorial waters. So this situation with the strait remains fragile. It could become a point of tension again, but for now it's open for business.
Let's talk about Lebanon and Hezbollah. Israel's ambassador to the U.S. sounds very negative on the talks, comparing them, quote, to a train wreck. Is that the general view of Israel's government?
Yeah, that is the view of the Israeli government, given where Israel believes that the talks are headed. So Ambassador Yechiel Leiter, he says Israel entered these negotiations as if they were riding on the same train with Lebanon, headed in the same direction with the U.S., as the U.S. being the locomotive. And in other words, there was a clear objective, right? Remove Iran's influence from Lebanon, disarm Hezbollah, and move toward a genuine peace agreement between Israel and Lebanon.
Wow. I don't know what to say. Israel's not going to come out of Lebanon. And yet the first three, if I remember right, I read all 14, but I think the first 2 or 3 points on the MOU referenced Lebanon. The MOU does not use the word Israel in there, or the name of Israel in any of that. And Iran doesn't want to give up nukes. What do you do with this?
Yeah, well, again, we're about 58 days and counting. We'll see. It could change dramatically over what was written as to what they end up with.
One of the things that I ran into yesterday, it was an interesting thought. Did the president prematurely open up the Straits of Hormuz? Because once he opened that up, he just gave muscle to Iran. And
well, he also, though, I think a lot of countries are saying we need to get that open, deal with Iran separately on this issue. So I don't know. I think we needed the oil that needed to flow in some areas. And
who's the direct benefit of that? I mean, yes, countries are going to get oil, but who's the direct financial beneficiary of that?
And that's been a concern, of course, is around getting any kind of direct payments because of that. And we have said, no, they're not.
Yeah.
They can buy American grain and so on with it. But we know things are not as pure as they appear to be initially.
All right. Well, listen, we've been talking about El Nino and La Nina. Here's El Niso weather.
Here's a look at today's weather from Grange Co-op. Across northern Oregon and southern Washington, mostly sunny to mostly cloudy skies. Vancouver tops out near 88, while Portland reaches 90. Highs carry from 89 to 93 across Wilsonville and McMinnville, with lows tonight in the 50s. Through the Willamette Valley, mostly sunny skies continue. Salem reaches 91, Albany near 90. Corvallis and Eugene see close to 89. Overnight lows settle back into the low to mid-50s across the valley. Central Oregon stays mostly sunny overall, with Prineville reaching 89, while Bend and Sun River see a slight chance of showers with highs in the mid-80s. Boise is noticeably warmer with hot conditions and a high near 95. Along the Oregon coast, patchy fog gives way to partial sunshine in Coos Bay and Crescent City with highs near 70. Port Orford stays mostly sunny near 69, while Brookings remains cooler with patchy fog, then mostly sunny skies and a high near 62. In southern Oregon, mostly sunny weather in Grants Pass near 90, Medford climbs to 92, and Ashland tops out near 87. Klamath Falls reaches 85 with sunshine early, then a slight chance of thunderstorms later in the day. Across Northern California, sunny skies continue in Wairika with a high near 90. Hot conditions develop in Redding at 99 and Chico at 96. Fort Bragg stays much cooler with patchy fog, followed by mostly sunny skies and highs near 61. Around the Bay Area, fog gives way to sunshine in Santa Rosa and Napa with a high of 77. San Francisco sees decreasing clouds and a high of 66, while San Jose becomes sunny with afternoon temperatures near 82. For Central California, sunny weather continues with highs near 91 in Sacramento and 92 in Stockton, Modesto. Fresno Visalia reached 98, while Bakersfield turns hotter with a high near 100. That's a look at your Wednesday weather from Grange Co-op.
Well, it's time to go back to what some people say was a more, innocent time. The 1950s. A record was set on this date back then.
Every limbo boy and girl all around the limbo world gonna do the limbo rock all around the limbo clock.
On June 24th, 1973, 15-year-old Marlene Raymond showed how low she could go in spectacular fashion. The Canadian teenager set a world record by successfully limbo dancing under a flaming bar just 6 1/8 inches off the ground. The limbo originated in the Caribbean, particularly Trinidad and Tobago, and became an international dance craze in the early 1960s, thanks in part to Chubby Checker's hit song, Limbo Rock. The object is simple. Lean back, bend your knees, and pass beneath the bar without touching it or the floor. Raymond's record-setting performance added an extra degree of difficulty because the bar was on fire. More than 50 years later, her remarkable feat remains one of the most memorable achievements in the history of limbo dancing. So, how low can you go?
How low can you go?
She'd be in her mid-60s now. I wonder if she can still do it.
Well, she may have to use a skateboard.
Flexibility.
Just lay on it and roll through it there. All right. Have you ever made a mistake, Steve?
What, me?
Okay, I'm sorry. I'll go to somebody that's more human. Well, I just did. I want to go back and correct something I said earlier, and I want to say thanks to Pastor Chad McComas for letting me know this. The dedication of the Medford Chamber small tiny home at the Joy community is not today, it's tomorrow.
Oh, it's a good thing you mentioned that. I thought it was today as well.
No, it's tomorrow at 4:30.
Good.
So I apologize for that. It's the second mistake I've made in the last 8 minutes.
Yeah, but you've corrected it, so that's okay.
All right. Sorry about that.
And Chad, you're doing a great job. It's always been great to talk to him about his projects. They're terrific in the community.
All right. Well, listen, the son of one of the co-founders of Hamas. Now, just let that kind of ring in your head, right? He's come away. He's had a great awakening. He is now totally against what his father gave birth to. And he is telling the truth about what's going on over there. And he was being interviewed by the Jewish News Syndicate, which is really the place to go. JNS News is the place to go in Israel to find out what's going on. And the question was asked, are you optimistic about what's going on over there? And here's what he had to say.
I'm not optimistic at all, to be honest with you. So I don't have an optimistic scenario. But we can definitely control the damage. The damage has been done already. We need to accept that. You know, the damage happened on October 7th. Not today, not yesterday. And since then, we have been trying very hard to restore the image, to wash the shame of failure for those who were asleep and their job was to defend the people of Israel. They made poor choices. They failed the people, and they did not take responsibility for their failure. And since then, we have been fighting very hard on multiple fronts, trying to get out of that situation. This is a lose-lose situation. If I tell you that we're going to emerge out of this in the immediate future as victorious, I'll be lying to you. The situation is very hard, and more people are turning against truth, not only against Israel. They're siding with the hype, they're siding with the trendy narrative, the victim narrative. And Israel, to them, whether if they are public or policymakers, decision makers, Israel has become a liability rather than an asset, even though in reality, Israel is their greatest asset. They wouldn't be here. They wouldn't be in this position without Israel. And now they want to appease the beast and please the public opinion. So congratulations, you are going to win the next elections, but you just sabotaged the cornerstone, the main pillar of the entire structure when you turned against Israel, especially when it's bleeding. I don't think that the Arabs, the Muslims, the anti-Semites, the anti-Israel has the capacity to annihilate the state of Israel. I think this is impossibility. And Israel, as a nation that has survived endless attempts to annihilate it for almost 5,000 years, knows better than any other nation that is still alive today how to survive. This is number one. Number two, in Israel, everybody knows how to fight. Everybody. There is no other nation out there that has the same skill, same intelligence, and same understanding of what the enemy exactly wants. And let me say this clearly. Israel's existence is not negotiable, and it does not depend on superpowers or the public opinion. And if they keep pushing Israel to the corner, they are the ones who are going to suffer the most.
Well, listen, Christians should be able to interpret that really easy. Those who don't understand Israel's role in prophecy, and especially in the Bible, will struggle with that statement. But think about who's saying this. This is the son of the co-founder of Hamas, who has come out in favor of Israel, which is in itself an amazing thing. Mm-hmm. Secondly, I think there's another pattern that we need to take a look at. Do you remember when 9/11 occurred and George W. Bush ratings went through the roof, some of the highest that a president has ever had in the history of the United States? And when he left office, he had one of the lowest. Why? One thing. He and Condoleezza Rice pushed a two-state Israel, and it blew up in their face. And now you have a president who is stepping back from Israel, doesn't even include them in the talks, and is isolating them and forcing them to do something against their very nature. It's very problematic. Very problematic. All right, we'll take a break. We'll be right back.
When life feels heavy, your body feels it, your mind feels it. That is why I created Organic Elements Wellness Spa, a place where wellness is not a luxury, it's a way of life. Step into our wellness lounge with a Himalayan salt room, infrared sauna, steam room, and invigorating cold plunge. Restore your nervous system, detox your body, and clear your mind. Then experience customized massage, advanced skin therapies, and result-driven facials, all designed to help you look as good as you feel. There's nothing else like this in Southern Oregon. This is your space to heal, to reset, to glow. Call today to book your private wellness party for up to 15 guests or surprise someone special with a gift certificate.
Visit Organic Elements Wellness Spa on East Main Street in Medford. Book online at organicelementspa.com. Wellness is wholeness. Voted best of Southern Oregon. Jerry's Historical Archives. Moments to remember. Go back in time. Back in the day. TV shows of the past. Relive the past and learn something new. Open up Jerry's Historical Archives. Weekdays only on Mornings on the Dove.
All right, welcome back. Steve probably remembers many years ago we had Nick Vujicic visit our studios, our radio studios.
I do. That's when we had a very small studio in the radio booth.
And the radio booth.
And it was both radio and TV then. Yeah.
He was coming through the area. He was doing a Pacific Northwest tour, and they brought him in. Now, if you don't know who Nick is, he was born with no arms or no legs. His story is amazing. It's been put into a movie, and it'll be released September 25th in selected theaters around the country. And you may want to certainly put that on your calendar and go see it. It's very moving. Anyway, when he came through many years ago, they literally picked him up and sat him on the counter between you and I in the radio studio. We talked to him. So I had him on the air yesterday from his home in Texas. You know, we talked about the upcoming movie, but in particular, he didn't come to the Lord till I think he was around 15 years old. He struggled. He actually tried to commit suicide twice. Once he tried to drown himself in his own bathtub. His story is amazing. And I said, for a guy that has prayed for miracles, you know, kind of like Johnny Erickson taught, prayed for miracles, but never gets them. I said, and yet, through you not getting your miracle, your story has delivered miracles to thousands of other people. How do you process that? Here's what he said.
You know, I am a little spoiled on this side of heaven, Perry. You know, I can't go in a public place cognito, just put on some glasses and a hat. People come up to me and they share about how the video changed their life or the book changed their life or whatever, preaching. And they started their faith journey with Jesus. And when you get to receive stories like that and many more, thousands on email, that the team goes through, you know, it's a blessing. And when I look at my wife, she's the greatest blessing after Jesus Christ and my 4 kids, you know, 13, 10, and 8-year-old twins. You know, it's dreams that I've been praying for, hoping for, didn't believe at one stage would ever come true. And so I think realigning, making sure that my focus is my focus and not being too distracted or too busy doing, but just being. All these things have really helped me to keep on going when it has been difficult. Yes, I do have a pair of shoes in my closet. I have a couple. Running shoes, dancing shoes, and now cowboy boots as a Texan. I still pray for arms and legs. What's interesting is actually this last 30 days I've been thinking about, how it's not getting easier. It doesn't get easier. And it's a constant dependence on the Lord. And I know His grace is sufficient. So at times I still pray for arms and legs more than the average person probably out there believes.
That's something.
Yeah.
Amazing. All right, Megan Barth will be with me coming up in a few moments. She's now the executive editor of the California Globe, and which covers pretty much the Northwest. We'll talk about that, and should be a good interview. Stick around for that.
Great. Well, we always like rescue stories, and Jerry's got one for us today.
Ooh.
A Minnesota woman is alive today thanks to a series of split-second decisions that put two friends in exactly the right place at exactly the right time. 68-year-old Catherine Wosner spent 3 days trapped in a deep mud hole after her vehicle became stuck on a remote trail, and when getting out to assess the situation, she fell into the mud, and unable to free herself, she remained partially submerged under the hot sun. Meanwhile, friends Adam Sandbeck and Mike Gavilan were out riding UTVs. But on this particular day, they changed their routine. They rode together instead of separately, explored unfamiliar trails, and slowed down through a muddy stretch they normally wouldn't have traveled. That's when they spotted what looked like a body near an abandoned vehicle. Then they heard a voice, "Help me." The pair pulled Wosner from the mud and called 911. She was rushed to a hospital and is expected to recover. Looking back, the men say the rescue feels more than just a coincidence.
We changed everything, how we do everything, for some reason, and it had to be God. It had to be.
Amazing.
That's something.
That is terrific.
What are the odds of that, to change everything like that?
So if God changes your direction someday, you never know why it might be, what the reason is behind it.
All right. Wow, that is really good. All right, well, listen, enjoy the hot weather out there. It's cooler. Wish you were back here, Steve. We're going to get down maybe into the low 70s and maybe even the high 60s by the weekend with some rain.
If I could hyperspace there, I would.
Okay, and you're going to still have hot weather, but you have monsoons, right?
Coming up. Yeah, we haven't had them yet. We really didn't have them last year, so it's kind of strange.
Really? And a monsoon can dump how much water, how fast?
Any amount in any location. It can be kind of a micro type of a thing, or it could be a wide area, and it could be within a half an hour. Wow. It's amazing. We have dry riverbeds that end up looking like the Mississippi River. It's amazing.
All right.
Dangerous.
All right. Be careful out there. Hot and dry. Be careful. Take with you today a great scripture, a great promise. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 11. Therefore, encourage one another and build one another up, just as you are doing. Find somebody to encourage today. It will change their life. And guess what? It'll change your life. Maybe buy them some pralines and ice cream today.
Ooh, good.
There you go.
Since 1934, Grange Co-op has been more than just a store. We've been a cornerstone of our community, owned by people like you. We proudly offer top-quality farm and ranch supplies, including our own Rogue feed, as well as workwear, Western apparel, garden essentials, and pet care products. By signing up as a Grange Rewards customer, you not only enjoy exclusive benefits like special offers and 1% back on most purchases, but you also become part of something bigger, a cooperative that you own and help shape. Join Grange Rewards today.
At Sweet Tea Express, we've got you covered. Order at the counter and our friendly service staff will do the rest. Burgers, salads, sandwiches, barbecue platters, sides, and more. Smoked, grilled, and served to perfection. Sweet Tea Express. Breakfast, burgers, and barbecue.
The Lennox iComfort S30 thermostat can sense changes in your environment. It even knows when you come and go. So now your home's most important system is also the smartest.
Metal Masters can give you the smartest home comfort system available. It knows when you're away and adjusts when allergens and humidity get uncomfortable. Trust Metal Masters to provide perfect air for your family.
Lennox. Air is life. Make it perfect.
Come fall in love with Northridge Senior Living, where contemporary sunlit interiors meet old world elegance. Walk through our lovely hallways and enjoy the fun staff-led activities. Forge lasting friendships with other residents and our exceptional caregivers. Dine in style. Gather near the fireplace under breathtaking chandeliers. Our reasonably priced apartments are spacious with private balconies. Northridge is Christian-owned and operated, pet-friendly, and only 2 blocks from Asante Rogue Regional Medical Center. On-site, in-home care is available. We also offer senior adult daycare. Your loved one can spend the day with us and the evenings with you. Northridge Senior Living, your home.
The Dove TV wishes you a happy 4th of July as America celebrates 250 years.
Well, welcome to Focus Today. I'm your host, Perry Atkinson, and always a delight when we have time to sit down with Megan Barth. Megan is the executive editor of the California Globe, and in her writings and investigative research, she covers more than just California. She's all over the place. You can go to californiaglobe.com is the website, and there's the picture of that landing page, californiaglobe.com. Megan, how are you? Oh, we don't have an audio on you. What's going on here?
Oh?
Oh, there you are. Okay. We got you now.
Okay, great.
Good to see you. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Gosh, the president's not winning too well on this MOU. What's your take?
Well, he made a comment yesterday about price gouging by the oil companies, and I think that's a little premature. There have been multiple federal investigations, including a state and federal investigation in California into price gouging, and that simply does not exist. All the investigations have proven that there are no price gouging by big oil. It was kind of surprising that he took on a leftist talking point, but I think this shows his exasperation as well as our exasperation. I just read a headline a couple days ago that the U.S. was the #1 exporter of oil. What about our oil? What about the price per barrel? The price per barrel has dropped down about $19, I think it was, or so in the last couple weeks. Mm-hmm. I think we can expect the price of oil per barrel to drop even further. We'd like to see it around $60 or under $60 to get those prices down. But on the West Coast here, specifically Nevada, California, Arizona, we are all impacted by refinery shutdowns that have happened en masse in California. You know, California used to produce from 80 different refineries in the 1980s. They're down to under 7. Nevada and Arizona both get our oil, refined oil from California. 90% of our energy and our oil and our gas comes from California. Well, with these refineries shutting down, obviously it puts it puts pressure on pricing, right? When you don't have supply and you have demand, you get a higher price. So with the Strait of Hormuz opening, I think it's going to take a little bit of patience to get those tankers through. They don't move fast, they move slowly. I think we need to stop blaming big oil companies like the Democrats continually do and really focus on not only getting that strait open, which it is, but if we're the number one exporter of oil, let's flood our country with oil.
Yeah, you know, you're bringing up everybody's scratching their head over this. And of course, they say, well, the world market determines the price of oil. But if we're the number one exporters, why are we still paying world prices?
Well, exactly. And I think that's a great question. We have to continue to look at the price per barrel. Once we get that price per barrel down, I would say around the 60s would be wonderful. It's not going to make that much of a difference on the West Coast, specifically Nevada and Arizona, because of our dependency on California. But Trump is looking at, of course, unleashing American energy and opening even up some of the refineries offshore in California, which is causing the Democrats to not only sue the Trump administration, but have a complete meltdown.
All right. Well, today it was at $75, so it's heading in the right direction. There's no question about that.
Right.
Yeah.
We want it to go down.
Okay. So in the meantime, he's opened up the straits, or he removed the blockade, let me put it that way, to open up the straits as also somewhat of a carrot to get Iran to accept the MOU. The financial beneficiary of all of this is Iran, along with other countries maybe getting oil right now. So was that premature to take the blockade before we have a signed deal?
Was it premature? I think it puts pressure on the right people. But yeah, a deal, like as they say in business, this deal is never done until the paper is signed, right?
Right.
And Iran, especially the negotiators, don't really have a history of being honest brokers.
Yeah. One other question about the MOU, and then we'll move on. Did you read the 14 points?
I did not.
Okay. It's interesting. And what's interesting about the 14 points, nowhere is the name Israel mentioned. But 3 times it's mentioned that Lebanon should be given freedom to go its own way. So this has put a rift between the United States and Lebanon, or the United States and Israel. So look at it this way. The MOU requires Israel to get out of Lebanon. Israel says no. The MOU requires Iran to give up nukes and allow for nuclear inspection. They said no. I guess this MOU doesn't go anywhere, which is supposed to set up 60 days of ceasefire so they can put a hard deal together. Doesn't look like it's going to go anywhere.
Yeah, I think we need to, in the old adage of John Lennon, is give peace a chance.
Yeah.
I think we're so used to having everything happen within a vacuum, and I think we're used to everything happening very quickly.
Right.
Untangling 50 years of terrorism in that strait is not going to happen within months.
Yeah.
The positive of all this is that we have the UAE on our side.
Right. Yeah. Which is unusual. Which is really.
It is very unusual, and I say that not flippantly. We have the UAE on our side. We have the power brokers in that region on our side, where Iran was even launching missiles towards their Muslim Brotherhood, as they say. But with the UAE on our side and with the Middle East completely redesigned, and the Iranian mullahs not controlling a huge body of water that is responsible for transporting world energy, is a positive.
Yeah. All right, let me swing your attention over to another direction. If you're not real busy, can I run you as Prime Minister of the UK?
No. I don't think they'd like me very much.
Number
It would probably be right of the Reform Party.
Number 6 in 10 years. What's your take on this one?
Well, you know, they say you can vote your way into communism. You can't vote your way out.
Yeah.
And I think New York, honestly, is going to learn a very hard lesson after last night's elections. But what we're witnessing is the globalist communist takeover of many countries under the, basically the help of USAID before it was disbanded, whereby leftists were installed, not elected, installed. And with them, they brought in mass migration. And that's the problem with the UK. It's not the price of tea. It is not the prime minister as far as, his personal life or if you like him or not. Mass migration has destroyed the UK and caused civil unrest. Mm-hmm. So until we get the globalists out of power, and it looks like they're doing really well in Central America, I think if you see the Reform Party rise to power there, I think you will see the UK first, right? Put Americans first, put the UK first. You will see an agenda like Trump's agenda with mass deportations.
So do you think Farage has a chance?
I think he has probably as good a chance as any, but I've been really watching the Reform Party.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens there. Okay, so last night was a big election in New York, and the far, far left wins big time, and to the point where it has the middle left kind of going, uh-oh. What do you think's going on?
There is no middle left.
Well,
okay?
whatever.
I'm honestly quite exhausted listening to the far left and the far right. What's the moderate of communist?
Yeah.
What is a moderate communist? What is a moderate Democrat? Is there even a blue dog Democrat anymore?
Yeah. Well point.
Right?
Good point.
So you have, national Democratic figures, including Ro Khanna, who's a senator from Silicon Valley, who accused Elon Musk of murdering 4.5 million children because he disbanded USAID from causing chaos around the world. If anything, Elon Musk saved 4.5 million children. But you have Ro Khanna coming out and praising the communist candidate endorsed by the communist Mandami in New York, who used an American flag, according to her, to wipe the filth off her hands. This is who the Democratic Party is. This is not an aberration. This is not some fringe element of the Democratic Party. They call themselves Democratic Socialists because Democrats welcome them into their party. They fundraise for socialists. They back socialists, just like Ro Khanna did, just like Kathy Hochul in New York did with Mandami. This is the face of the Democratic Party. We are no longer blue dog Democrats. You no longer have moderate Democrats. You no longer have JFK Democrats. You don't even have Democratic Socialists. They are Democrats. They are socialists. And they are fundamentally, because socialism is much closer to communism, right? That's where it all leads. It doesn't lead to capitalism.
Yeah. That's very well said. So, Mondani's 3 endorsements win.
Yep.
They do go into November. I don't know. Do you think they win in November?
Sure. Absolutely. Why not? And I kind of actually, like I said, you can vote yourself into communism. You really can't vote yourself out. So as long as I've been alive, I've been told by Democrats that, well, the socialism abroad just didn't work because they didn't do it right. We got to do socialism right here.
Oh.
And once we do it right, we'll prove to all of you that socialism, not capitalism, is the greatest pathway to freedom and prosperity for all.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's use New York as the testing ground and see if that works. But good luck voting yourself out of it. And honestly, Perry, and I'll add one more thing. Why these people are allowed to run in the first place boggles my mind, because at the core of their whole entire platform is not only violence, but it's anti-American. You shouldn't even be able to hold office when you're spouting anti-American sentiments and violence as a tool for your means of political power.
So, how did we go from 9/11 to this in New York?
Immigration. Unabated immigration on steroids. You literally have zones in New York that are doing the Muslim call of prayer 5 times a day. They are taking over the streets of New York just like they did in Michigan. The average number of children per Muslim immigrant is over 5. We're under 2. So it's a numbers game.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why the balloons are coming up.
I don't know either.
We having a party? I didn't know.
I don't know. We missed it.
We did.
Yeah.
I didn't get the invitation.
Yeah. Okay, so does socialism in New York run out of money before they run out of votes?
Well, I think they're going to run out of federal money as long as Trump is president, and maybe J.D. Vance to follow, because why would you want to fund communists, for all of their great ideas as far as cradle to grave taking care of you? But you're going to live in a tenement. You might not have air conditioning, but you'll have a box to live in, and then we'll all be equal.
Yeah.
So I think New York has a lot of problems on their hands. I think the Democrats honestly don't care. I think this is who the Democrat Party has always been. And I think at times of economic troubles, especially since we just got out of the Biden regime, people tend to look for security and safety from the big hands of government.
All right, good stuff. Let me take a quick break. Let me say to the viewers and listeners, check out Megan's website, CaliforniaGlobe.com, where she's the executive editor. There's a picture of the landing page there, CaliforniaGlobe.com. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back.
I'm Susanna, and I contracted KA Designs to do custom cabinets throughout my house. We chose a really beautiful maple wood that really creates like a nice airy space. Everything was custom, and it was really cool because I got to literally see it come to life in person. We love to entertain, and we have a large family, so everything came together perfectly, exactly what I wanted. I highly suggest KA Designs if you're looking to design your dream house. Go check them out in their showroom. You will not be disappointed.
Buying or selling a home can be stressful. It's one of the biggest decisions you'll make in your lifetime. That's why it's important to work with someone you trust, someone who has the right experience and knowledge of the market.
Hi, we're Patrick and Paulina Leiser with Leiser Real Estate Group.
And whether you're looking to buy or sell a home, our mission is to take the stress out of the transaction and make it as seamless and rewarding as possible.
Contact us today. We look forward to working with you.
The Dove TV, encouraging and informative for the Fresno Visalia area on new full-power KEDZ TV, seen on cable, satellite TV, and over the air. The Dove TV, encouraging and informative for the Fresno Visalia area on new full-power KEDZ TV.
welcome back. Always a delight to have with us Megan Barth. She's the executive editor there at the California Globe, and you can go to californiaglobe.com is the website. She's a pretty busy lady and on top of all the top stories. By the way, I just want to say thank you for making things simple.
Oh, you're welcome. Well, I try. I'm a pretty simple person.
Well, I know, but we get off on all these other things, and you kind of go, "Gosh, where's the?" You kind of cut through it and keep it simple. With that in mind, if the left is being what it is, and it's now showing up in the Mondanis of the world, and his endorsements, where does that leave Newsom, Governor Newsom?
And Newsom is a chameleon. Newsom will be whatever Newsom wants to be in order to keep his power. Very slick politician, has never held a private sector job, but has multiple multi-million-dollar homes. He just bought a $9 million house on a, $200,000 salary? How does that happen? Newsom is under investigation, as well as his wife, and we reported on this last week. And it reportedly has to do with a lot of the financial transactions that the Newsoms have done and taken over many years, which are highly questionable, especially when it comes to NGOs. His wife, or first partner, as she calls herself, his first partner, Jennifer, she has a couple different NGOs, and she's drawn over $3 million of salary off those NGOs. They do a lot of behested payments. I don't know if you're familiar with behested payments, but basically it's a quid pro quo arrangement between your donors and the government. So, for example, if AT&T or some company gives the Newsom campaign $1 million or a few $100,000, what do you know? They get a contract with the state worth $60 million. That's California politics.
Okay. Can he shake California from his resume if he wants to run for president?
I don't think so. And I don't think he wants to. He's very proud of saying that California is the 5th largest economy in the world, or the 4th largest economy in the world, or whatever. And that actually talking point can be severely challenged. When you look at the numbers, just doesn't really add up, especially when they're looking at a budget deficit that is in the billions and billions and billions of dollars. This is the problem with the communist Democrats or the socialist Democrats, or if you just want to call them Democrats. As you said, they spend other people's money, but the problem is you run out of other people's money. Mm-hmm. And they've spent a lot of other people's money, and what they've done with that money is not only enrich themselves, but they expanded the footprint of government dramatically since COVID. And that's what you're seeing not only in California, but in blue states and blue municipalities across the country. This largesse of government, especially after COVID. Double-digit growth in government, double-digit growth in government workers. Well, why do we need this much government? So he cannot remove himself from California. He is a Californian. He's been in California politics since basically right after college and right after he flunked out of baseball or whatever he did. But yeah, he's been in California politics for far too long to leave that behind.
As you know, RFK yesterday announced $6.5 billion worth of fraud that's been exposed. Over 200 million of it was in Medicaid. 450 indictments went out, 120 just with the Medicaid thing. That's certainly going to spill over. It's in 45 states. I can't help but think this is the beginning. This is going to show up in California, showed up in Michigan. And those numbers have got to be pretty embarrassing for Newsom and the legislature.
You have to have a conscience in order to be embarrassed. And you really do. I mean, I don't know how else to, you do. I mean, to feel shame, to feel embarrassed, you have to have a conscience.
Yeah.
They don't care.
Yeah.
They don't care. If they would have cared, the fraud would not have been going on for years and years and years. And mostly the fraud exploded right after COVID. Mm-hmm. So I just wrote it, it's on the landing page. about a nurse practitioner from Las Vegas, but who had companies throughout California, Nevada, and Texas. She had like 4 companies. She stole nearly $1 billion from American taxpayers by fraudulently billing Medicaid or Medicare or TRICARE. $1 billion just from one little nurse from the Philippines.
Wow.
So just imagine the magnitude of fraud that has not been uncovered.
Yeah. The door is open. We'll see what happens. Do you think Republican candidate for governor has a chance in California?
Yeah, I think anybody has a chance. I mean, after Mondami won New York, and then you see all of these, quote unquote Democrats all of a sudden flocking to communists. And when you looked at the latest CNN poll, I'm not saying this out of jest. I mean, they did a poll, CNN, 62% of Democrats have a favorable view of socialism. So that's where the Democratic Party, I contend, has always been. But now they're just openly proud of it. So, I mean, yeah, I think anybody with a pulse, quite frankly, like I said, I'd even, instead of Donald Trump, they would even elect a lobotomized monkey if he had a D on the ticket.
So I guess you got 2 strong candidates running for governor there, and it's amazing how they popped up at the end, especially the Democrat. Any polling on those 2?
Steve Hilton, here's the problem with California, and this is how, and this is what we saw in a microcosm type of way, or a micro way, is in LA City Council. You had Spencer Pratt.
Yeah.
And it was all a nonpartisan race. He was in second place, and you needed to get the top 2 to advance. And all of a sudden, the Democratic Socialists came out of nowhere and overtook the second place lead because she got 80% of the vote. Socialists have a very long history with elections.
Right.
And they're not very pretty.
Yeah.
And that's exactly who you have running California. That's exactly who you have hiding the voter rolls from the DOJ, which leads me to my last point. The Democrats or communists or the socialists, because they're all just one big leftist happy group now, they keep saying, and even a federal judge who should be ignored, they keep saying that the voter roll data is private, that the DOJ has absolutely no business touching a voter roll to cross-reference Social Security numbers, for example. The federal government issued those Social Security numbers. They already have those Social Security numbers. So why can't they cross-reference Social Security numbers? There is no privacy breach when it comes to reviewing or auditing voter rolls, but this tells you everything. What are they hiding?
Then the last point is, given all of that, are you surprised that the SAFE Act is stuck with Republicans in the Senate?
No, I'm not surprised. Because every time you see John Thune, you see the same 5 fossilized Republicans around him standing at the podium telling us what they did for us lately. They haven't done anything. They've passed what, 1 bill, the big beautiful bill? Thanks. Okay, next. And they're going on recess in what is it, August? All of August? So no, John Thune, along with the, Susan Collins of the world, the always the 5 same quote unquote moderates. They don't understand the enemy because they work with the enemy.
Well, you're amazing. So, in your new role, what are the stories you're tracking? I got about 2 minutes. What are you tracking through the California Globe?
Yeah, so I'm actually writing an op-ed this morning. I'll be publishing it later about the elections in New York and how basically, anybody that's been paying attention, this is who the Democratic Party is. And we have Ro Khanna, like I said, congratulating a woman who used the American flag as a napkin to wipe the filth off her hands, who has expressed anti-American hateful sentiments. And this is exactly what the Democrats do. I mean, look at what they're doing to the reflecting pool.
Yeah.
They're destroying it. That's what communists do. They destroy anything beautiful. They tear it down, and then they remake it into their own image, like the Obama Library, which looks like a huge garbage can. So I'll be writing about that. And then, of course, there's always fraud. Every day I write about fraud. I could be writing about fraud until I've got one foot in the grave, honestly. I would have a never-ending evergreen story.
Yeah, well said. Good to see you. Thank you for your time. We always value it. Let me say to our viewers and listeners, check out her website, californiaglobe.com. There's a picture of the landing page. And check out...
We need to take that bald guy off the feature. I don't like it.
Okay, well...
I didn't do that, but I'm an editor, so I can take it off.
Okay, well, put a picture of you and me on there doing the interview.
Yeah, it would be much better. It would be much better. I don't need to see a bald Democrat on our landing page.
Good to see you. Thanks for your time. Thank you. God bless you, friend.
Okay, thank you. God bless you. Thank you.
Hi, I'm the SOS Alarm guy, here to tell you about a great deal. SOS Alarm will not only beat any internet deal, but will install the system too. So burglars, beware. SOS Alarm for security and beyond.
What if the school you chose shaped who your child becomes forever? At Rogue Valley Adventist Academy, every lesson begins with purpose. We are a pre-K through 12th grade private school built on one mission: to educate, mold, and inspire service through a personal relationship with Jesus Christ, where students find their voice through music. Build tomorrow's solutions in our makerspace. Compete with heart and integrity on the court, and prepare for real life every single day. RVAA is a safe, student-centered community where every child is known by name, not just a number. From pre-K through 12th grade, your child will be challenged, supported, and loved. Enroll now. Openings are limited. Visit rvaa.us or call 541-773-2988. Rogue Valley Adventist Academy, located in Medford. Join in and stand out.
Welcome back, and very timely. Always is. Perfect timing when we have time to sit down with our good friend Pastor Mark Little, Executive Director of Cure America Action, and you can go to cure-action.com. But his show, I'm looking at a beautiful new website here called themarklittleshow.com. There's a picture of the landing page, and faith, the law, and politics, where faith, law, and politics come together, and it's always a real conversation. No question about that. There he is. Hi, friend. How you doing, buddy?
Good morning. Good morning. You know, this new website of mine, it really combines everything that the Lord has put in me to do while I'm here on the earth. So I'm excited about the podcast that, I've been doing for a while now, but I'm serious about it.
Well, you should be. You got great subject. I was trying to prepare to respond to your recent episode entitled Transparent Scar Bearer. And when I started reading down on this, only Mark could come up with this. This is amazing. First of all, how were you led to go down this road?
Well, that's a great question, and I knew you would ask it.
Okay.
For the better part of a couple of years, I've been using that topic in what we do in abortion and miscarriage recovery. Mm. I have found, Perry, that when leaders, when senior pastors, or even licensed ministers are transparent about their exposure to their own abortion story, it frees people to come out of the shadows and come out of their feeling of condemnation and shame to talk about that they did it too and why they shouldn't do it again because of what God says about how he values life. And I've seen it in real action, when it comes from the pulpit, people get out of the pews and they run toward their healing. And so that's how and why I've been preaching the whole concept of being a transparent scar bearer. And then this time around for the episode, I said, I want to dig deeper into the text instead of how I just use it as an application in my ministry. I want to make the text come alive, and so that's what I did.
What text are you using as a base here?
This is John 20 in the upper room. This is the Apostle Thomas, the disciple Thomas, who just didn't believe that Jesus had been resurrected. And what I love about the text, and I hadn't really seen this before, Jesus didn't have to come back. The disciples had already seen him in the upper room. They had already seen him, depending on what version you're looking at, they'd seen him after his resurrection. And Thomas wasn't there the first time. And so he comes back, he comes through the locked door. I love that part. You can stop right there. He'll come through your circumstances that seem impossible. A locked door, nobody can come in, and here comes Jesus.
Boy, that'll preach.
I love it. I love it. He came through a secured locked door, and he appeared. He didn't have to. Everybody had seen him. Over 500 people had seen him. The resurrection was a historical fact. It wasn't a moment. It was a historical fact. And then here comes Thomas, and Jesus appears, and he says, "Put your fingers in my hands. Put your finger in my side." And so the first part of that is Jesus kept the scars. We know that in our resurrected bodies, as an example, I'm going to have my prosthesis, my amputated leg I'm going to be whole in my resurrected body. That's what we believe. So it begs the question: why did Jesus keep the scars?
Wow!
And I had to ponder that. And it became clear when you take John 20, verses, I believe, starting in verse 24, and then you add that to Revelations 12:11, you understand the importance of testimony. Jesus says there in John that imagine you see me and believe. Imagine those who can't see me and they believe, having faith that he did what he said he did and that he is who he says he is. I love that juxtaposition. But when you combine what happened in the upper room with what we call doubting Thomas, and he gets a bad rep. I say in my podcast, Thomas was right. Because if you go over to Revelation 12:11, we overcome the Lamb by the blood of the Lamb, Jesus' death, and the shedding of his blood, and the word of our testimony. It tells you the power of testimony and people seeing what God has done in our lives. That's why it's so important to tell it.
So, boy, this is, wow. Why do we hide our scars?
We hide our scars because we don't understand the difference between shame and guilt. Shame says, I did this happened to me, like me. I'm an amputee. I could have felt a body dysmorphia. I could have felt bad about my new body image, and I could have hidden myself. But instead, my amputation is my scar. And I allow the Lord to minister to me that whatever shame I might have felt with this new body in the earth, I'm not this body. I'm not this handicapped person who should be pitied. No, I'm a walking testimony of God's miracle. So we hide our scars because we allow the injury, we allow whatever it is that happened to us, whether it's the molestation, whether it is any number of things that happen in this Christian walk. Even the mistakes we make, the infidelity, whatever it might be, we allow the scar to become our shame. And shame says, I am what I did. Instead of realizing that there is no condemnation for those who are in Christ Jesus, Romans 8 and 11. Rather, we made a mistake. We have some guilt. That just means I made a mistake. It doesn't mean I am the mistake.
Okay. I'm immediately also thinking of not only you and your testimony, I was thinking of how God has used Johnny Erickson Tata. And she wears her scars every day in front of millions of people. And from the scar has brought healing.
I see it every day, and that's a great example. And our friend who's a no arms, no legs. You know who I'm talking about. Those testimonies, it's we wouldn't ask for it. I wouldn't ask to be an amputee. But if you lean into the God who you say you serve, and you've been dealt a hand, think of I hate the comparison, but think of a bad poker hand. Mm-hmm. But it's actually good because you're serving a God who's going to take your poker hand and he's going to let everybody see just how good he is despite your bad hand. You might look at me and you might look at me limping with my cane and you might say, oh my goodness, what happened to him? And then you stop me and I begin to tell you how I was hydrocephalic in my head after I got shot and I had renal failure and I blew up from 150 pounds to 211 pounds. And they called my mother in Connecticut and they told her, if you don't get to Los Angeles, you won't get to see him alive. And if he survives, he'll be brain dead and blind because of the water damage. If you don't stop me and hear that story and then see the goodness of the Lord, you may never get to understand just how magnificent and powerful he is. Our scars, our wounds are our testimony. And don't let your pain become the albatross. Let your pain be your trophy. He's giving you a story to tell somebody about he's still the true and living God. And we really do overcome the enemy by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony.
Powerful. All right, let me take a break here. Let me say to our viewers and listeners, check out Mark's website, marklittleshow.com, all one word, and it's M-A-R-C, littleshow.com. Check it out and check out his podcast. He's in this series. We'll be right back.
Your property demands equipment with more reliability, durability, and versatility built in. Kubota equipment is ready to get the job done right.
Men of Southern Oregon, please join us for our next Game Changers, June 27th, with Eddie Penny. He's the author of Unafraid. He was on SEAL Team 6. He's got a thriving ministry and podcast Can't wait for you guys to hear his story. He'll be in Grants Pass June 27th, 6 p.m. That's the time of our event. The meal will be at 5 p.m. Please join us June 27th with Eddie Penny at the next Game Changers. Register online at gamechangersnorthwest.org. See you then.
I'm Susanna, and I contracted KA Designs to do custom cabinets throughout my house. We chose a really beautiful maple wood that really creates like a nice airy space. Everything was custom, and it was really cool because I got to literally see it come to life in person. We love to entertain, and we have a large family, so everything came together perfectly, exactly what I wanted. I highly suggest KA Designs if you're looking to design your dream house. Go check them out in their showroom. You will not be disappointed.
Jesus is the answer for the world today. Above him there's no other, 'cause Jesus is the way. Jesus is the answer for the world today. Above him there's no other, 'cause Jesus is the way. Sing along.
Hi, welcome back, and powerful discussion with our good friend Pastor Mark Little. By the way, he has a new website up and running. Check it out, marklittleshow.com. That's also where you can plug into his podcast, where he's walking through these series, and especially now out of John, Gospel of John, chapter 20, dealing with the doubting Thomas. It's where faith, law, politics come together, and it's always a real conversation with Pastor Mark Little right there. Pastor Mark, before I move on, I want to come back to a thought, and that is, do you have any, other than being providential, do you have any reason why Jesus, after the resurrection, came back with the body still with scars?
Well, I think this particular passage of Scripture really drives the point home.
Mm-hmm.
They knew that he was crucified. The scars say the pain was real. I really went through something. And here's the evidence. And he walked around, and we know that many saw him. But Thomas is the only account where he touched it, where he got to feel the granular sense that what happened was real. And not just that it was real, but this is the person that it happened to. And that is what testimony does in our real lives. Because we can talk all day long in theory about what we've gone through and what God did for us. We can talk about it. But something happens when you see and when you can get to touch that the pain was real and that he brought you through. That sort of becomes the response in our contemporary experience. And so I imagine that the same happened for Thomas, I believe.
The message here is that being transparent with your scars, we all bear them, from physical to emotional. And I guess, and Jesus, by coming back after the resurrection, instead he was in his resurrected body, but unlike us, will be perfect. He used the scars, obviously, to transcend all of this to what we're talking about today. So how would you advise somebody to be careful in sharing that too soon?
Yeah, you must have really listened to my podcast on that question. Good for you. That's a great question, because Like so many things, when we're ministering to others, whether it is apologetics, evangelism, or even just in daily life, we always have to use wisdom. Wisdom is so important to be able to deploy, if you will, when you're talking to people about anything, but in particular about this Christian walk. And so it's important what you're carrying is a jewel. Yeah, your testimony is a jewel, and it's also a weapon. And anytime you deploy a weapon, you need to know when to deploy it. You need to know how to use it. And so in this instance, it's important when you're having an exchange with people, whether it is a big crowd or one-to-one. Testimony has to be. I want to use the agrarian term. You gotta till the soil, and then you gotta plant seed, and then you gotta water it. And being able to share your testimony, as an example, if you and I only had 10 seconds today, I wouldn't be able to tell you how good God was. I would do it a disservice. So you just have to use wisdom where the person is. Is it your testimony that they need? Or is it just someone to care for them in that moment? Testimony has to be planted in the right season at the right time.
Beautiful. At the end of the day, what you're trying to get people to understand here, whatever the scar is, could be divorce, infidelity, could be addiction, could be all kinds of failures of all types. God doesn't waste it. It's very usable. What would you say for somebody who's carrying a deep scar? Could it be emotional scar, which the ones you can't see, so to speak, to be open to God to use it?
It's such a big topic that I probably did 3 or 4 episodes around the issue of forgiveness and hurt and pain. And so in our brief time here, what I will say to that person is to first understand, in order to move past the impact and the effects of that pain, that scar, whatever it might be, we have to understand some principles about the character of God. First, that he remembers your sin as far as the east is from the west. It's very difficult for us to grasp the concept of God's grace. Salvation is an example of it. We don't deserve it, but he gave it to us freely. And then understand, when the text talks about, in the gospel, it talks about love your neighbor as yourself. We have to stop at the as yourself. Because if you don't understand what God says about you, if you don't understand how he loves you, it's then very difficult to put yourself in the reflection of your own mirror and see clearly. We have to see ourselves as God sees us, because only then can we move past that moment and begin to understand that we cannot forgive ourselves. So you can't stay stuck there. What you can do is accept what God says about you. And then you can move on into forgiving others and into taking the pain of life, the scar that you wear. Only then can you then say, he loves me enough to give me an assignment in the earth. He loves me enough to call me as an ambassador of the kingdom, and then to be used by him in the earth. You have to go through that process, because if you don't, hurt people hurt other people. You've got to be able to get your own healing so that you can then go out and extend the very healing that Jesus says that he came to do. In Luke 4:18, he says, the Spirit of the Lord is upon me. He has sent me to preach the gospel to the poor. And then here it is. To heal the brokenhearted, to set at liberty those who are in bondage, and to give sight to the blind. Those are spiritual metaphors. He's called you to do that. That's the ministry that he left for the church, Luke 4:18. But it starts with understanding that there's no condemnation in Christ Jesus, and that he loves you just as you are, and he can use you. Just look at David. Look at King David. See yourself in that text, and then let him use you.
Mark, from the time of your unbelievable experience and tragedy of losing a leg, how long was it from then to where you realized God will use it?
I tell you, Perry, it started very early. I can tell you that after the amputation, I walked around on crutches just because I needed to accept the change in my body myself. And I did that probably for a good 2 years. But on the night that I was shot, I had a conversation with the Lord, not knowing what condition I was in. And I lay in that ambulance, and I knew I'd been shot in my lower extremity. And I promise you, it was just as if Jesus was in that ambulance with me, because I said to the paramedic, I said, tell me, will I still be able to have kids? And he looked, he pulled up the sheet, and he said, yes. I said, Lord, I'll stay. I believe it was then that I said yes to whatever the assignment was, and I'm glad I did.
Wow. I think you've uncovered something here. I look forward to continuing this conversation and more development as the Lord reveals more to you about this passage of Scripture. This is really powerful stuff. So thank you, brother.
Brother, we can't bring each other along without sharing just as we did today.
Yeah.
This is what gets us through.
Yeah.
Bearing one another's burdens.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, go to marklittleshow.com. That's one word, M-A-R-C little.com, or show.com. There's a picture of the landing page. He covers a lot there. You may want to follow him on this podcast series. Love you, brother. Good to see you.
Not more than I love you. Thanks for having me.
I'll see you later.
theDove, encouraging and informative on television, radio, online, and streaming.
Wake up to what's going on with Mornings on the Dove, weekdays from 6 to 8 a.m.
For in-depth conversation of world, national happenings, and events affecting faith, watch Focus Today, weekday mornings.
The Dove TV covers Oregon, from stations in Albany, Bend, Dallas, Medford, Portland, Salem, and Tillamook.
Watch theDove on Apple TV, Roku TV, and the Fire TV app. Download from the App Store and Google Play.
Women. Discover God's purpose for every season of your life with Melinda Robertson on Season to Shine, afternoons at 4.
Be inspired by God using people and ministries on the move with Ryan Robertson, Tuesday and Thursdays at 4.
Watch, listen, and stream The Dove anywhere around the world with theDove.us, your online connection to The Dove.
Watch theDove in Central California over these Dove network stations and cable outlets in Fresno, Visalia, Bakersfield, and Tulare.
The beauty and depth of the ancient Orthodox Church and its place in the modern world. Sundays at 6 on theDove TV.
Bring powerful, God-centered content with you anywhere you go with the Dove app. Download at theDove.us.
Tell your friends and family. In Idaho, you can see theDove TV in the Gem State over KTVJ Channel 3, a Dove TV affiliate in Boise.
Listen to Bible teaching, music, and information over these Dove radio stations in Southern and Central Oregon and Northern California.
Watch, listen, read. The Dove, encouraging and informative on television, radio, streaming, and reading.
You can watch the Dove TV in the San Francisco Bay Area, Santa Rosa, and Monterey.
Season to Shine, a new inspiring program for women. Through meaningful and relatable conversations, we'll help you discover God's purpose in every season, empowering you to shine. Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays at 4 p.m. on theDove TV.
Come fall in love with Northridge Senior Living, where contemporary sunlit interiors meet old world elegance. Walk through our lovely hallways and enjoy the